Yep. We good.
Stand up, New York Giant fans. What's going on there, Baddog?
Well, amount of rushing totals, I can tell you that.
That was hysterical today.
That was unbelievable. I swear to God, I did not see your post, and I don't know what the hell made me look at that. I got no idea, and then like a few minutes later, I got on there and go, "Oh my God, I posted the same exact thing." And what are the odds of that?
And the funniest thing is, we didn't even just post the same exact stats. We broke it down the same way.
I know,
because I went and looked at your tweet, and you broke it down by the running back yardage and the quarterback yardage. Yeah. And I was like, wow, what the hell what are the odds of that? It was crazy.
That is funny. I just want to say, Zach Phillips, thanks for super chat. Really. He says, I feel like DJ wants to take the Giants to the promised land, but he can't do it by himself. He can't be our leading rusher and expect the Giants to win football games. Well, that is definitely true.
Yeah. I mean, listen, and I don't want to make excuses. Like I said in my video today, DJ is definitely part of the problem right now. I think it's a collective effort, but when your running backs have 78 yards on the ground on 41 carries, and 28 of those came on 4 from Barkley, if you take that away, they've got 50 on 37. That's not going to get the job done, Baddog. I don't care who the quarterback is.
No, you're not gonna get that done. And I don't know what the problem is. Like I said in my video, I think part of that is Daniel Jones unable to change blocking schemes. But I mean, I don't know what he can possibly do. I mean, it is crazy. Who is that? I hate the way it looks. Rudy T, thank you for becoming a member. Really. It's so hard to see because that is blue on green, so it's very difficult. But Rudy T, welcome to the Dog Pound, my man. I appreciate it. We're the Dog Pound members. Welcome, Rudy T.
Rudy T is the man. What's going on, Rudy, man? Thank you so much for popping in the stream. Yeah, I mean, the offensive line is a complete disaster. I mean, and I agree. Daniel Jones probably has something to do with that. It's we saw it last year when Eli Manning was the quarterback the first 2 weeks, and when Jones came in, you started to see him struggle where Eli was better. The offensive line looked pretty good the first 2 weeks when Eli was in at quarterback, and then you started because of pre-snap reads and coverages, and that's something that you hope he gets better with the time. But I agree that has something to do with it, but it's not like the ground game was good with Eli either. I know that Barkley had some big runs, but they still rank near the bottom of the league. I just think the offensive line is a disaster. Jones may have something to do with it, but the offensive line is a major problem. And, we knew it was going to be going in, so that's why I'm trying to take a wait-and-see approach, because it is 3 new offensive linemen, so we got to give them some time to get used to playing with one another.
You know what else is funny? I noticed you're in a different part of the stadium than I am. We're both here tonight.
I got a better sky. It's a little later where I am.
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know how that happened. Must have been the sun is setting on that side of the field. Still over here a little bit. Rudy T, thanks for the super chat. Really. Oh, he says, I've been a member. YouTube canceled my membership. That is really weird. Well, welcome back, Rudy. I thought you were before, but I never know.
That happens from time to time. I don't know why that is. By the way, I noticed that it must be my vantage point. I've got fans in the stands. You don't.
Yeah, man. Well, I have a green screen of no fans because I don't want them to get in trouble for not social distancing.
Right. Good call.
So I'm trying to button it up over here.
Good call.
We're 21. Thanks for the super chat. Really says, my man, how's it going, Baddog? Well, the Yankees advanced, so at least I got something. I got something out of that. Lakers destroyed the Heat last night. So at least it was a decent night. All the Yankees wanted to give me a damn heart attack, and they do all the time. It's just funny. I can't. It's unbelievable. I've never been so mad at a good team in my life. Like I get so mad at them constantly. Like they frustrate the hell out of me. Like it's just funny. No matter how good they are, I still get so mad at that team because it's the only thing I have to hang on to.
Well, they're the Yankees. I get Yankee. That's just Yankee fans. It's inherent in Yankee fans. You guys expect to win every year.
Well, especially with how bad the rest of the teams have been. I need that,
Yeah.
Greg Simaluka, thanks for the super chat, my man. Really appreciate this. Regardless of wins, losses, I don't see the physicality that was promised. Am I missing something? We could at least be showing that toughness.
Listen, I'm not going to make excuses. They're obviously not playing perfect, and last week was an embarrassment. Last week was a regression. The first 2 weeks I hung my hat on that they played hard. They came out, they fought for their coach the second half. They were going up against better teams. Last week, there's no excuses. They got embarrassed. If that happens again next week, I'm gonna yell about it again. But at the end of the day, I do think it's going to be a process. That's what I thought all along. But last week, no excuses. They quit. last week. They quit. It was embarrassing.
I can tell you, Chris, that was as mad as I've been at a Giants team since that Rams game in 2017 when I watched them quit. We lost 51-13. We were doing that stream. I mean, I was just seething. Like, I didn't want to go off of the stream. That's why I did the halftime video. But I was mad. Like, I was so ticked because they just showed like they were disinterested, like they didn't want to be there. Like you said, it looked like they quit. They're playing a bunch of backups. I mean, if it was the Niners starting lineup and you got Deebo Samuel out there and George Kittle and Nick Bosa, yeah, both of their running backs and Jimmy G, okay, I could see losing 36-9. But they had nobody. And then Jordan Reed got hurt in the game and somebody else got hurt in the game. And it's like, what the hell?
To me, it was the fundamentals, too, the stupid penalties, the horrible tackling. Fackrell missed a tackle. There's somebody else missed a really bad tackle. They just played a horrible football game. Football game.
Roldy, thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate it. He says, what up, fellas? Baddog, were you shocked to wake up this morning and found out the Yankees won? Roldy, I stayed up and watched the game. I just didn't finish streaming. I actually started streaming the Yankee game after the Laker game. When the Indians went up in the 8th, I said, to hell with it, I'm going to bed. And then, of course, I don't. By the time I think I went upstairs. I think I went to the bathroom. By the time I got done, the 8th inning was over. And I'm like, well, the hell with it, I'm going to watch. And then, of course, the Yankees had the big rally in the 8th or the 9th. So and then I'm like, well, now I have to watch the rest of it. And, of course, Gary Sanchez actually had a good game. He had a 2-run homer, and he had a sac fly, which was enormous that he had a sac fly. But, of course, Aroldis Chapman strikes out a batter in the 9th. I forgot who it was. And Gary Sanchez just lets the ball go right by him, and the guy reaches first. Last out of the game, he had to extend. He had to piss me off. He had to do it.
That's your best buddy. Do you have a Sanchez jersey yet?
Yeah. I use it to wipe my kid when he's done going number 2. Billy Zay's Johnny the Turtle. They go to super chat. Really. He says, Stella and stand up. Hey, Chris, I asked Baddog this question. But it would be smart for my Eagles to tank with our injuries and cap hell that we are in.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. No. I mean, right now, first off, you guys are basically tied for first place because you have the same amount of losses that the Cowboys and Washington does. So, I mean, essentially, you're tied. I know you're a half game out. You're a win-now team. You're a team that has bought completely in. You've backloaded your contracts. Eagles got to try to win. They set it up to be a win-now team. Obviously, you guys have had a ton of injuries, but no. If I'm an Eagles fan, I want that team to try to compete and win the NFC East, and I think you can. I'm not saying you will. I'm not picking you guys to, but I think you guys will be in the hunt.
I told Johnny, please lose every game so I can enjoy your misery.
I'm rooting for them to lose, but if
They're
I was
not drafting Trevor Lawrence, so the hell with that. They got Jalen Hurts, man. And they got Carson Wentz. They can't have a bunch of quarterbacks.
Yeah.
They stink. I love it. They'll probably beat us, though. Rudy, thank you for the super chat. Really. I don't know if he meant to say key to the win is to score more points than the Rams. I think that's what he was saying.
Yeah, that is definitely the key this week. I mean, the key this week is not to get Daniel Jones killed. I mean, Nick Gates, to me, I'm really worried about Nick Gates going up against Aaron Donald up the middle. That is that's a matchup for asking for disaster. So,
hey, guys, I see a couple of guys. I see Pedisance. And who was it right there? SN Ross said, I like the Tuck jersey. I went into my closet right before the stream, like I got to put a Giants jersey on. And I said, oh, I forgot I had the Justin Tuck jersey. So I was like, let's put that one on. I haven't worn that this year. I gotta try to wear this Sunday, see if it brings us any luck.
I got one of those. I don't know where it is. I think I put it up in my attic. I have a Tuck jersey. Tuck's one of my favorite.
I don't know where the hell my Daniel Jones jersey is. I cannot find that anywhere.
Yeah.
I got to check the downstairs hamper down there. Maybe it's in there. Yuri, thank you for the super chat. Brilly says 6-10, 7-9 go in the division. Anything. Tank for Micah Parsons. Well, we wouldn't have to tank. We would just have to play Giants football.
Yeah. I don't. We're not gonna have to tank to get Parsons. Well, if we want Parsons, I think we're gonna be able to pick him more than likely. I think so. I mean, hopefully not. Hopefully we win the Super Bowl, but more than likely.
Yeah. Well, we'd have to do. I don't know. We would have to do a 180, and
winning a game would feel like the Super Bowl at this point.
We would have to do a 180 and then a 360.
Yeah.
So now we would need a bunch of spinning around to get to that point.
Yeah.
We would need we would need one of these. Whee! Yeah, cool Phil, thank you for the super chat. Really says, don't worry, the Giants will get better, young guns. Well, cool Phil, we can't get worse. I don't think we can get worse than we are.
I think it'll get better, but like you said, it can't get worse. I don't know if we're going to be a good team over the second half. I think we'll be a better team, but what does that mean? That's the question that we're going to ask ourselves.
It's very tough right now. It was hard to take any positives away from that game Sunday, and
There was none. Yeah,
that's why I think I got so mad. Graham Gano, I guess you could. He kicked well.
Graham Gano did good. Yeah,
I think we could take that out of it. Yeah. And I don't know. Other than that, I don't know what else. We haven't. I mean, the Giants have been so bad. We haven't even seen Jason Garrett clap yet this year. That's terrible. Trinity 2D, thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Really, we as Giants fans take an oath. Everyone, raise your right hand. I will not get excited for off-season pictures of players looking ripped. I will not get excited about scrimmages. I will not be fooled. Well, I'll be honest, Trini. I was not excited about the scrimmage. And I actually made a video criticizing Daniel Jones about the scrimmage. And, of course, I got killed for it. This was why I had to make my video about Daniel Jones, let people know, just in case. It's not like I hate Daniel Jones. But as Chris said last week, I'm overly critical of him because I think very highly of him. And that's just how I am. When I think very highly of a player and I feel like they're letting me down or they're not performing to what I think they can perform, I let them have it. That's tough love. That's just how I am. I don't know any different. And that's just me. I grew up in a different era. I grew up when there was no participation trophies, and then there was no, you're 0 for 4, or you fumble the ball, and you're like, oh, that's okay, buddy. It's like, no, do better. that's it when I grew up. So that's why. I mean, I do like Daniel Jones. There's no doubt about that. But I'm overly critical because I feel like he should be doing better. I know, I got no receivers, got no running back, got blah, 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 blah. I'm not making excuses. To me, what I've seen is he's made some bad decisions that have nothing to do with talent. He just didn't read the field correctly, didn't read the defense correctly. He made the bad throw to Evan Ingram before the half in San Francisco. That had nothing to do with pressure. That had to do with it's just a bad decision.
I personally think what's happening, and I'm not making excuses, Daniel Jones has to learn not to do this. I think he sees, one, that the team is just not ready to win yet. The offense with the scheme and everything else, they're not caught up. And in that one play particular that he threw to Evan Ingram, I think he's trying to put the team on his back. But you have to realize that situations like that, when you try to go above and beyond and you take a shot on your own 25, you're hurting the team more than you're helping it. So He has to mature and get better with that. I think he's trying to put more on his shoulders than he should.
Right, and that's why I'm critical of him, because he can't. You gotta understand sometimes it's just not meant to be. It just isn't. And just live to fight another down. Don't make the turnover there because you gave up 3 points. Just punt the ball away. The half's over, going down by a touchdown. And same thing in Chicago. He turned it over inside our 30. He turned it over inside their 30. And in Pittsburgh,
inside their 5, wasn't it? It was like the 4-yard line, wasn't it?
Was it that? I thought we were like at about the 25 when he fumbled.
Oh no! I'm thinking of the Steelers game.
The Steelers game, he turned it over at the 4. Yeah, so I mean, just things like that. I mean, that's what's making me so mad. Listen, if Daniel Jones, like I said, if Daniel Jones has his arm hit when he's throwing to somebody like that and it flutters and gets picked off, well, I say, oh, well, that sucks. The pressure got there, something like that, or if it gets deflected. But when the interceptions I've seen him throw, outside of the one where he should have thrown it away against Pittsburgh, there really hasn't been pressure. He's just kind of went back and threw a bad pass. So, yeah, I'm going to be overly critical of him. That doesn't mean I don't like him or I don't believe in him. I'm just, like I said, I believe in him a little bit too much maybe, and that's why I'm hard on him. I don't know. Johnny, man, thank you for the super chat. Really. He says, I know you guys have to be optimistic. No, I don't. Do you think the Panthers moving on from Gettleman was a great move and our Giants fans finally want him going? I think a lot of Giants fans didn't want him here to begin with, Johnny, if I'm being completely honest.
I mean, yeah, he hasn't worked out with us, but what has Carolina done since he left?
Yeah, nothing.
Carolina's gotten worse since he left, so I don't know if it was a great move for them either. So,
yeah,
I don't know their GM over there, but they're not that good.
No,
they just brought in a new head coach.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Triple J, thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate it, my man. Brilly says the plan doesn't even need to be to tank. It'll just happen naturally. I can't talk much because my team is garbage too. The Dolphins. Love what you guys do. Thanks, LA in 4. Yes, Triple J. That is definitely going to happen. Lake of Streams. Let's get it done in 4. Let's just do it up. I appreciate Super Chat. Of course, I always appreciate the support. But Dolphins are better than we are. At least you got Tua.
Dolphins are in better shape right now than we are. I agree with that. I mean, they did spend a lot in free agency.
They did. And they traded a lot to get some picks.
Yeah, I honestly don't like what the Dolphins did this offseason. They're definitely a better football team than we are right now, but I personally think they should have waited another year to go on a spending spree.
I agree. Asia, our lady, thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate it, Asia. Really. She says, "Bad dog, what's up, you loon? And stand up, sexy Tainah." Bad dog, how about them Yankees yesterday? I know. I was really pissed off in the 8th inning. I'm not gonna lie. I was mad. I'm always mad. Like I said, Asia, earlier, I don't know if you were in here. I get so mad at them. I mean, I never been mad in my life at a good team, but I get so aggravated with the Yankees because I want them to win. I just feel like we should be in the World Series. But I agree. She says, now let's feast on some Rays. Go Yankees and Giants. Yeah, it's time to pay the Rays back for what they did to us this year. We owe them. And now we're healthy. So we got everybody out there, man. They're all there. And Stanton's hitting in the playoffs. That'd be big for us. No doubt about that. Jeremy, thank you for the super chat. Brilly, he says, what's up, my man? Hope you all have a great weekend. Jeremy, always appreciate the support, man. Great Cowboys fan. And, I always wish you and your family well. He's a truck driver, so stay safe on the road. And, thank you for everything you do, getting our food and stuff to places so that, we can stay in good health.
Yeah, Jeremy, man. Thank you for all the support on my channel as well.
He's the man. Hot Nicks, thank you for the super chat. Brilly, he says, what's good, y'all? Once again, the most exciting part of being a Giants fan is going to be the draft. Super pissed we aren't taking positive steps. Cheer me up, please. Graham, we know 3 for 3. I mean, we're one. I'll cheer you up right now. We're one game out of first place, and we have every team. We have all our division games left. One game out of first.
I don't know if this is going to cheer you up, but outside of the team completely quitting last week, it's what I expected. I thought this team was going to come out slow this year with all the factors, and I think by the second half of the year, we're going to be a much better football team. I thought that before the year started. I still think that. That doesn't mean it's going to result in wins because we play a very tough schedule, but I do think we're going to be a much better team over the last 8 games. I thought that. I still think that. So if that cheers you up, I think this is a team that had to overcome a lot of things this offseason, and they're a young team learning new systems on the fly, and they didn't have a preseason. And I think it's going to take time, and I think we need to realize that.
Yeah, it definitely is. But I think we're not looking – I think a lot of us, myself included, aren't looking at the Gettleman era. We're looking at this has taken 7 years, and we're still –
No, I understand.
And I think that's the biggest problem for us. Rolly, thank you for the super chat. Brilly says, I understand fans like to make themselves feel better thinking we have a chance in this division because the East is weak. But we have to stop that. We aren't better than those teams, regardless of what the records are. See, so Hot Nichols, I tried to cheer you up, saying we're one game out of first, and Rolly says, bad dog. No, sir. Rolly and I are related somehow, some way. And we think exactly the same. It's crazy. It's crazy. Angel, thank you for the super chat. Where'd that go? I just saw that. Angel, thank you for the super chat. Brilly, he says, hey, Chris, where's the O-line? All I see is sacks.
The O-line's underdeveloped. We've got 3 rookies. Only one's playing right now, and Cam Fleming's a swing tackle. Nate Solder opted out before the year. O-line's going to struggle, at least the first half of the year. They may struggle all year. These guys got to learn to play in the NFL and get used to playing with one another. So I still think long-term they set it up well, but it's not going to be an O-line takes time to develop. It's not going to just happen.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that in a couple minutes. Johnny, thank you for the super chat. Brilly says, love you guys. Tomorrow's my birthday. Giants think, well, happy freaking birthday, Johnny. Happy birthday, my man. Maybe Chris will sing you happy birthday. Maybe. He only does that for the female.
Happy birthday, John, man.
We love you, Johnny. You know that. You're the man, brother. You know that. One of the greatest Eagle fans I've ever known right there. He's just awesome. He's a lot of fun. And, Johnny, if you ever want to come over, I offer this to Chris all the time. If you ever want to come over and don the pinstripes and become a Yankee fan, I'll turn my back and act like you were never a Philly fan, and we'll let you in. I'll let you in. Rolly, thanks for the super chat again, man. Thank you so much. Brilly says, for FYI, Gettleman didn't build that Panther team. He inherited an already established team. That Super Bowl wasn't built by Gettleman, just so you know. Well, I don't know. I think Gettleman took over. They were 1-15. And
Gettleman had something to do with it. He might not have drafted Cam Newton, but like you said, when he got there, the team was like the worst team in the league, and they made a Super Bowl 2 or 3 years later. So he had something to do with it.
Yeah, he did. Asia, thank you so much again for the super chat, my lady. Brilly. Don't worry, Chris. With the new owner, your time will come soon. Hopefully, after the Yankees win number 28, the Mets got a good team. They just need some pieces to put it together. You know what the Mets need? the Mets need some luck. You guys have the worst luck. You guys sign the right pieces, and they never. It's like the Giants.
I think the Mets, and maybe this is just my stupidity because I'm a blind fan, but they added the richest owner in all of sports next year. I think he's going to come in, at least in all of baseball. He's worth $14 billion. I think next year he's going to come in and he's going to spend a boatload. Now, whether or not that results in us winning the World Series, I don't know, but I'm optimistic. We got a lot of good young pieces. I think he's going to go out there. I think he's going to add Bauer. Bauer's the best starting pitcher out there. I think he's going to sign him. And I think he's going to sign the shortstop from the Indians.
Lindor?
Yeah, I think he's going to sign both of them. I think the Mets are going to make a huge splash in free agency next year.
Just remember, you're probably going to be bidding against the Yankees for Trevor Bauer. So you know, I
think
more of the Yankees. That's going to happen.
I think our guy's going to try to put us on the map, but we'll see. We'll see.
You can have Lindor. We have our shortstop.
Yeah.
You're not getting better than that. What the Yankees are going to have to do is sign DJ LeMahieu. I mean, that guy is unbelievable. I freaking love DJ. Mark Gettleman, thank you for the super chat. Billy says, guys, you got to admit, Will Hernandez is a bust. He sucks.
He's definitely trending that way. I'll say that. He's definitely trending that way. I'm not going to make excuses for him. I can if I want. He's trending that way. He's not playing well.
Sonny Ann, thank you so much for the super chat. Really, I think that's Hong Kong currency. He says, who's bigger dog, Ingram or Sanchez? I dislike Sanchez more. I think I dislike Sanchez more than anybody in the guys that I root for. Like I can't stand him. As far as bigger goes, I think Ingram's bigger than Sanchez, but
yeah, Ingram's pretty big. Yeah, you hate both of them though. That's for sure.
Yeah. All right. So let's get into this. Couple things. First of all, I did the video. You did your video on the old line. I read a lot of the comments, and a lot of guys are saying, "Well, this offensive line is no good because they're inexperienced. They haven't worked together. Blah 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 blah." And then the same people are saying, well, we got to get a new old line in here. We got to get this. We got to get that. We got to get this. If we keep changing the old line,
can't do it.
How is it ever going to develop? Right?
We need to add another piece, but it's not that we need the core guys to stay. And it's kind of like what we've said about general manager and head coach. Even though at this point I've thrown my hands up in the air with Gettleman because I can't defend him anymore. But it's the same thing there. You can't have constant turnover rate. On the offensive line, more so than anything else, you need continuity. These guys need to play together. They need to get better together. We saw that in 2005, 6, and 7 with that offensive line.
So, I mean, are these the guys you want to ride with? Obviously, we need another piece, but we drafted Lemieux, we drafted Parrott, we drafted Thomas in this draft. Will Hernandez is still young. So, I mean, are these the guys? Like, what are we looking to add? Like, are we looking to add a free agent?
Maybe a center. Maybe a center.
Creed Humphrey from Oklahoma would be a nice piece.
Maybe a center. And I'll tell you what, Giants fans may hate it if they hate the offensive line, depending on where the Giants are picking. If they're picking at 3, as much, people are talking about you can't pass up on a generational quarterback. Well, if we're picking at 3 and Penei Sewell's, he's the best tackle to come out in 15 years, and he's staring you in the face, and you have an opportunity to pair him with Andrew Thomas for the next 15 years, it's something you think about at least. So, we'll know as the draft comes along. But I do think that their core, you need to get them playing together very soon.
Whether the 3 guys we drafted, definitely.
Yeah, I think you need to get them playing. The other thing, Mike Too Nice actually brought this up. I thought it was a really good point. Penei Sewell actually played next to Lemieux, so they have continuity there. They played with each other in college. Right. So, yeah, it's just a possibility depending on where we're picking in the draft.
It's a good point. Bobby, our man, Butcher's Black and Patriots Talk. Thank you for the super chat. Brilly, love him. Has a great channel over there, guys. Check him out if you have not. Big Boston fan. Still one of my favorite guys on YouTube, no doubt. He's just a cool guy. I mean, that's just how it is. He loves the Lakers. He loves the Yankees. I have to do that, Bobby. He says, what concerns you the most out of these issues? Jones' decision-making, poor O-line play, the defensive secondary, and Gettleman talent evaluation. All of the above.
To me, it's the poor O-line play. But, yeah, it's all pretty bad. But the secondary, I expect. I mean, I can't even get upset at the secondary. I'm upset that DeAndre Baker's an idiot. But I can't get upset at Corey Ballantyne. Like, how could I expect Corey Ballantyne to be a good cornerback? The guy's not – he's supposed to be a 4th or 5th corner. We have to start him because we had a guy opt out and we had a guy go to jail. So I can't really get upset at that in terms of the way he's playing because he's not supposed to be starting. As far as the poor online play, I'm upset, but I also knew going in they were going to struggle the first 5-6 weeks because they've never played with one another. If this continues throughout the year, I'll be very upset. with the poor offensive line play.
Yeah, I know. I completely agree. By the way, guys and girls, we got over 460 in the house. Thank you so much, Jordan. Really, really appreciate it. I mean, the fact we're only 3 and the crowd is this good, we really appreciate it. Here, hit the thumbs up. If you have not, it does help out the streams. Please smash that thumbs up. More importantly, make sure you're going into the description. If you have not subbed up to my man, the Entertainer Talking Sports, links there. Sub up that channel. We're going to be on that channel next week. You always alternate channels. The talk show and the game will be on his channel next week. Obviously, Sunday against the Rams will be on my channel this week, but we alternate all the time. So make sure you sub him up. That way you don't ever miss a show. Have you ever heard of the Fat Chick? That's one of the best names I think I've ever read on YouTube. Really, really. Thank you for the super chat. He says, name me one pick that Gettleman has hit on. He's had high picks every year. Jerry Reese at least hit on picks like Bradshaw, Odell, JPP, and Knicks. Don't forget about Victor Cruz, although he was undrafted. Gettleman has done a horrible job. Fire him. Reese did very good at the beginning of his tenure. Yeah. It started to fall down after 2011 when he took Prince Mukamura instead of Mark Ingram. Then he drafted David Wilson, got hurt. Then he drafted Justin Pugh. He was not a first round.
Not worth where they picked him.
Odell Beckham saved his job. Eric Flowers was disgraceful. Eli Apple was disgraceful. Evan Ingram was disgraceful. They not only were his first picks bad, his second, third, and fourth were god awful.
Well, that to me is where you evaluate a GM. Most GMs should be able to find a guy in the first round. And yeah, Barkley going down, you can't predict an injury. I think Gettleman's had some good picks, if I'm being honest. He's definitely had some bad ones too. I think Dexter Lawrence looks like a good pick. I think Darius Slayton in the 5th round was a good pick. I think he's had some good picks. I'm not going to completely trash the guy, but he's had some bad picks too. And right now the Saquon Barkley pick looks bad. It has nothing to do with the injury. It has everything to do with the fact that we didn't have an offensive line to support him when we brought him in here. And running backs have a short shelf life. So the timeline didn't add up. It didn't make sense.
Michael Sachs, thank you for the super chat. Brilly, he says, is Judge a free agent after the year? Mets, maybe. I don't think Judge is a free agent this year. Maybe after 2021, but I don't think he's a free agent. And the Yankees would never let that guy go.
Yeah.
Not going to happen. He puts asses in.
We're not. He's not
going to get rid of him. Spunky, thank you for the super chat. Brilly, man. I really appreciate this. What are your thoughts on Vic DiBitetto? He's my uncle. That guy's post-game Giants Yankees rants are hilarious, entertaining. Yeah, Uncle Vic. Yeah, that's my Uncle Vic. So I know him well. He's not really my uncle, Spunky, but me being in the TTC, when we first found Vic DiBitetto, all the people came in and go, Baddog, we found your uncle. Baddog, that's you in 30 years. Baddog, that's you. So I love Vic. Vic cracks me the hell up. I absolutely love Vic DiBitetto.
Yeah. Vic's the man. Vic's hysterical.
69 Lucky, thank you for the super chat. Brilly says Giants need to trade for some weapons and an O-line. Yeah, but what are we trading? You don't want to give up picks when your team is terrible. You want to gain draft capital. You know what I mean? So you want to gain draft. When you're bad and you're trying to rebuild, you want to gain draft capital. I don't know what we could trade for a weapon. Like, I don't know.
The only way it would make sense to me, and I don't know, I haven't scanned the teams. I don't know the contract lengths. The only way it would make sense to me is if you could acquire a young, talented wide receiver that is still under 2 or 3 years worth of control. If you could do that, and because then you could look at, like, if we trade a 3rd round pick for him, it's basically like we drafted him in the 3rd round. But if it's like a 1-year rental, it makes no sense whatsoever. You can't do it. So I still think the Giants are going to be selling. I mean, we're going to be 0-4 after this week, more than likely. Obviously, we're not competing this year, and you got to try to get as much draft capital as you can. So I'd be surprised if the Giants aren't selling.
I agree. I agree. Deception, thank you for the super chat. Brilly. If we go receiver in the draft, who do you think is the best fit? I think Waddle looks electric. If you're asking me, it's Jamar Chase. I don't think there's a better receiver coming out of the draft. Now, obviously, he opted not to play this year with good reason. But I think that he is the man. And I already see Eagles fans talking about Jamar Chase and how they need a wide receiver. So I think Jamar Chase is probably the guy. And again, college just started, and I really start paying attention to the draft about November. Even though we're talking about it now, November is when I really start to pay attention to guys that will be coming out of the draft and who we're going to need. It's unfortunate that I have to do draft videos in November. I really wish I didn't have to do that.
I really don't want to. People already asked me. I said no chance in hell. Greeny Green says all we can do is trade for picks like the Dolphins did. Here's the problem though, in my opinion, in comparison to the Dolphins. The Dolphins had electric players to trade. They traded away Laramie Tunsil, a very good tackle. They were able to get good draft capital for that. They also traded away Minkah Fitzpatrick. We don't have anybody on this roster close to a guy like Minkah Fitzpatrick that's tradable. So, yes, we should do that, but don't expect to get near the compensation that the Miami Dolphins got because we don't have the play. Who do we have to trade? Dalvin Tomlinson, he's a nose tackle. We might get you a 5th-round pick. We saw what Snacks got. Evan Ingram, maybe a 3rd. I don't think he's getting you a 2nd, especially the way he's playing this year. Leonard Williams, maybe a 3rd. He makes a lot of money, and it's only a 1-year commitment.
Yeah.
You're not getting top draft capital for the players that we have on our roster. You're just not.
Right. Sacred Dust, thank you for the super chat. Brilly says, Bradbury gives me hope. Love his playing attitude. Bradbury has been very good. Bradbury has been very good this year, no doubt. Somebody mentioned in the chat earlier, he has the most passes defense in the NFL this year. So, Zach Phillips, thank you for the super chat. Brilly says, thought on the cornerback they just picked up. I don't even know anything about that guy.
He was. I mean, I don't know a ton about him. I watched some highlights. I think he's pretty tall, if I remember correctly. He's fast. They said he was. Had a really good combine. I've said that about so many prospects we brought in. Though the Raiders wanted to keep him, but the problem was that the Raiders were so deep at the cornerback position that they couldn't keep him on the practice squad. So that's why he got an opportunity to hit the open market, and the New York Giants picked him up. Seems like a guy with some upside. Do I expect him to be a starting corner when this team gets good? No, he's a depth player, but we're in need of that right now. So I think it was a good pickup.
Yeah, I mean, we need all the help we can get. Rolly, thank you so much, man. You're the man. Brilly. My opinion, Gettleman really had nothing to do with the 15 Panthers Super Bowl. Only players that played a part were it was Calvin Benjamin, Caleb Williams, and out of 3-year Carolina, 2 players are still in the league. No, sir. Okay. Disagree. FDG. Miss JR.
Hey. We're entitled to our own opinions. I definitely do not miss JR. And I don't think Baddog does either. But yeah, we're all entitled to our opinions, man. So I listen, Dave Gettleman, I'm not going to defend him anymore, but I'm also going to tell you I thought Jerry Reese, his last 7 years, it was horrible.
I went through the draft picks. Don't forget, guys, he drafted J. Ron Hosley in the 3rd round. He drafted Marvin Austin. He drafted
well, the other thing that I commonly hear is this, that well, at least he was able to bring in great players via free agency. He brought in Janoris Jenkins. He brought in this. He brought in that. First off, he had the cap space. Yes, secondly, by him doing that, it put us in the situation we're in. Those guys gave you a year, and then they put us in cap L because they didn't match the contract. So that was bad that he brought those players in. It hurt the rebuild. It was bad. That wasn't a good thing.
He did nothing to protect Eli.
Yeah, nothing whatsoever to protect Eli. So that's where we disagree. That's all.
But you know what? They've both been pretty bad. I mean, I can't lie.
Yeah, they've both been bad. That's why we suck.
You know what else is kind of messed up is we're unlucky. I was in Gangrene David. I was talking to Gangrene David earlier. The Jets are unlucky. We're unlucky. Like, okay, so Saquon Barkley probably shouldn't have been. Hindsight being what it is, we should have taken him number 2. We weren't ready to win. That's a win now position. Not ready, but. Massive rookie year, showed flashes of brilliance. We're comparing him to Barry Sanders. The guy's amazing. Then the guy takes a broken ankle and tears an ACL. That's bad luck. The Xavier McKinney, the steal of the draft, one of the steals of the draft, broken foot in practice. Out till November or December, right?
And the pandemic with two new systems didn't help.
But you can't blame Gettleman for McKinney breaking his foot. You can't blame Gettleman for Barkley tearing his ACL.
Baker going to jail.
Right. DeAndre Baker going to the jail. Right. Andrew Thomas. Andrew Thomas is supposed to be the safest tackle in the draft. He gets here and he's terrible. So what I mean, Gettleman, that's the right pick. If you want a lineman, that was the right pick. I mean, I would prefer Jedrick Wills, but Wills is.
I still think Thomas is going to be fine.
I do too, but I'm just saying through the first 3 weeks he's been bad.
Yeah.
And they're talking about how great Mekhi Becton is. I think Becton got hurt tonight, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if he got hurt, or he might have been hurt and they played him anyway, something. But, I mean, again, I think that some of the things Gettleman did were the right moves. It's just it's just bad luck. Some of it's just bad luck.
He made some really dumb moves and he had some bad luck.
Right.
Yeah.
You know? And that's just part of it. When your team is awful, you have to, I guess winning teams always seem to make their own breaks. And when you're a losing team, everything seems to go against you. And the perfect example is the center catching the deflected ball on 4th down for the Bears. Just so stupid, like an impossible play that extended their drive by 2 minutes, and then we ended up running out of time. That type of thing happens to bad teams. Where a good team, that ball gets batted up in the air, you pick it off, and you run it back for 7 points.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just bad. But I I want to talk about Trevor Lawrence a little bit, and obviously this is already a hot topic. Jets fans want Trevor Lawrence. Eagles fans want Trevor Lawrence. Jaguars fans used to have Jaguars talking about Trevor Lawrence. This is the thing. Somebody brought this up on your page, and I think this is a really good point. Daniel Jones next year, say we are 2-14, and Daniel Jones does not improve. Okay, Daniel Jones has turned the ball over, I believe, 25 times in 15 games. He's turned it over every single game, at least once, except for the game against Washington last year. You can say Daniel Jones continues to play at that clip. We're 2-14. Mm-hmm. He'll be going into his third season next year without a good team around him, knowing that
you draft Trevor Lawrence. You don't even need to finish.
Draft Trevor.
You draft Trevor Lawrence.
He's going into his third year.
No, you draft Trevor. In that scenario,
one more year and then have to extend him, or Trevor Lawrence will be a rookie.
In that scenario, you draft Trevor Lawrence.
You do.
In that scenario, you draft Trevor Lawrence. If we have the first pick, guys, whether you want to or not, if we have the first pick, first off, Gettleman's gone, so the new GM has no attachments to Daniel Jones. And if we have the first pick and you have a guy that most pro scouts think is a generational quarterback, the New York Giants are taking him.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, the New York Giants are taking Trevor Lawrence.
Well, what I was going to ask you was, would you want Trevor Lawrence? I know we're probably going to take him.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What do you say? Yeah, damn right.
If we have in that scenario that Daniel Jones does not progress.
That's it. Yeah, if Daniel Jones turns around in the second half and in the last 8 games he throws 20 touchdowns and only throws 4 interceptions, and we still go 2-14, then you say, okay, Daniel Jones should improve it. Now let's trade that pick and get a boatload of crap in here to help our quarterback.
But I'm not talking about tanking. I'm not talking about hoping that Jones in the hypothetical scenario, Jones sucks all year. You have the first pick. Yes. I don't even think twice. I take the guy that's the generational quarterback.
Gotcha. 69 Lucky, thank you for the super chat. Really, should we trade Saquon for picks or players? Well, we're not going to get anything for him now.
Okay, here's the thing with Saquon Barkley. What are we got? First off, all right, I always say this because I've gotten asked this before the injury. I'm still getting asked it. He has even less value than he had before because he just tore his ACL. Mm-hmm. So nobody's trading for him right now until such time he proves he can play a full season and he's healthy. So we're not trading him this offseason. And next offseason, he's due to become a free agent. So what GM in their right mind is going to trade away draft capital that you would feel is near fair compensation for a running back that he knows he's going to have to pay $20 million a year if he acquires him? So I just don't see it. I think when we drafted Saquon Barkley second overall, we're pretty much married to him unless we decide not to sign him to a second contract. I don't think you'll ever get close to what you think is fair value for a running back with Saquon.
No, especially since he's a second overall pick. I mean, what are you gonna get for him? I mean, especially
with the injury, that hurts his trade value.
We got a first and a third for Beckham. That was what we got. So, and I thought that was pretty fair. Seeing Antonio Brown, now he ended up being a nutcase, but they only got a third and a fifth for him. So
the other thing I want to throw in with the Beckham though. Beckham was already signed to the second contract, and the Giants had already eaten a lot of the money.
Right.
So the Browns didn't have to worry about signing him to a second contract.
Which is why the Giants signed him. They signed him to trade him. I know that's what because they had leverage that way. Yeah. And like you said, it'd be like if he was in the situation Barkley is, because remember he broke his ankle in 2017 and missed most of the season. It'd be the same thing. We wouldn't have got anything. Just like if we tried to trade Barkley now, because he would have been coming off the major injury and he would have been a free agent at the end of 2018. So it wouldn't have worked.
Right.
So, I don't know. I mean, if maybe that is something that if the Giants want to trade Barkley, maybe that's something that they do consider. Hey, he has a good year. Let's extend him, and now let's move him out. I don't know. The Barkley thing is just really unfortunate because in a bad year of 2018, he really gave Giants hope that, holy cow, we got a superstar. We got the best running back in the league. This guy's so much fun to watch. He's going to be amazing. And it's just bad luck.
Yeah.
It's just bad luck. Rolly, thank you for the super chat. Brilly, man. He says, I was kidding as far as Jerry Reese, but look at the situation we're in now. Hernandez looks lost. He promised to fix the line. It looks lost. What's the difference? I'm not trying to beat you up, Chris, but what's the difference?
What's the difference between what Jerry Reese left and what Gettleman's going to potentially leave? They're both horrible situations.
Gettleman tried.
I'm going to give you two differences, though. Jerry Reese left absolute cap hell. So Dave Gettleman had to come in here and completely clean that up. Like we were in the worst one of the worst cap situations in the league. That will not be inherited by the new GM. The second difference is the new GM is not going to be forced a 37-year-old quarterback upon him. So those are two major differences, and I'm not crediting Gettleman for that, but it's what Gettleman had to inherit from Jerry Reese. the new GM will not have to inherit that.
And the other thing is, Roldy, again, when you go back and look at that draft, Will Hernandez in the second round is a damn good pick. He just didn't pan out, but that's the right pick. He went with Saquon, then he immediately went to the offensive line, and he tried. He brought in Nate Solder. It failed, but Nate Solder was the best left tackle that was there. Like I said, Gettleman has tried. It just hasn't worked. He has tried to address the areas of weakness where Reese did not. Reese did not. We didn't need a tight end when we took Evan Engram. We didn't need a cornerback when we took Eli Apple. Laramie Tunsil was sitting there. Yeah, I know the old gas mask thing. But Tunsil was right there.
Yeah, I see Charles Wright, 37-year-old two-time MVP quarterback. Listen, I'm not trying to disrespect Eli Manning. I absolutely love Eli Manning, okay? But as a new GM, that's something you don't want to take in. You don't want a 37-year-old quarterback on a team that you know has to rebuild. It was a horrible situation. Yeah, I love Eli Manning. I think the Giants screwed Eli Manning. I think the Giants should have traded Eli Manning 2 years before, knowing that they were never going to be able to compete with him at the quarterback position. By the time they got good, he was going to be too old. So I never blamed any of it on Eli Manning, to be honest with you. I think the Giants screwed Eli Manning. I don't think Eli Manning screwed the Giants.
Yeah, there wasn't much Eli could do at 37. There's just one. Again, because the offensive line had deteriorated. He had no running back. And outside of Beckham, I mean, he had an injured Sterling Shepard. He had an injured Evan Engram. He didn't have a lot there either, which is why he just kept going down to the ground. He's just like, the hell with this.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting there getting killed. Edelman, thank you. Mark Edelman, thank you for the super chat. Brilly. He says Barkley's not a good running back, period. No, that's one man's opinion, I guess. I don't agree with. But like we said, we're all entitled to our own opinions. I think Barkley's a great running back, but I think he needs to improve on certain things that we've talked about in the past. But he's still a very good weapon for sure. Danny Thomas, thank you for the super chat, man. Really appreciate it, guys. Thanks so much. Brilly says, for wide receiver, I want Terrence Marshall Jr. from LSU, 6'4", 200 pounds. Last year, he had 46 receptions for 671 yards with 13 touchdowns. I think he'd be a good target. Yeah, again, the combine has a lot to do with a lot of things, Danny, and we have to see where we're picking. I mean, it's so hard to do the wide receiver thing. The quarterback thing is easy. The lineman thing can be easy depending on where you're picking, but the wide receivers, it's such a difficult position, and I don't think you want to use a top 5 pick on a wide receiver if we're drafting top 5.
From what I've heard, and I haven't done a lot of research yet on the draft because we're so far away, and right now I'm focused on the season. But from what I've heard from experts and people that talk about the draft already, this is supposed to be like an even better wide receiver class than last year. And some people are going to say you have to take Chase, you have to take the receiver. I think you could still get a great receiver in the second round from everything I've heard. So me personally, if you're not, say we get the 3rd or 4th pick, I'd much rather go with Sewell or a defensive player, an edge rusher, a line, whatever, or trade down if somebody wants to come up and get a guy like Justin Fields, whatever it may be. But I personally don't think I'm going to be in favor of taking a receiver in the first round in this year's draft.
No, it'll be. I mean, I don't know. I mean, again, we might have a completely different GM, and they're going to want to build a team the way they want to build a team. So it'll be very. I hate that we have to talk about the damn draft October 1st. It's just unbelievable. Yeah. We're only one game out of first, guys. What are we doing? How are we talking about the draft? One game out. We're right there. Amy Sandy, thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate it. What's up, guys? Giants fan for 34 years, win or lose, I bleed blue. Where can I DM or email y'all? Would love to see a game and have a beer with you one day. Go blue. Appreciate that.
Twitter. If you're on Twitter, we're both on Twitter.
Yes. Yep. We are both on Twitter.
You can DM us on Twitter.
Yep. Twitter. I'm also on Instagram. So
am I. Yeah. So
Twitter and Instagram. Maybe one of my mods can drop Chris's links. My links are in the description. My Twitter and Instagram links are in there, as well as Up Tainah's channel. So if you haven't subscribed to Up Tainah, please do. We got over 800 people in here, man. This is unbelievable. What a hell of a crowd for a Talkin' Giants stream.
What happened today? I guess Giants fans want they want therapy. Yeah.
And we do too. So woosah.
Yeah, woosah.
Michael Sachs, man, thank you so much for the super chat. Brilly says if you want to look at a team how they draft, my Saints. Yeah.
Michael, I credit your Saints all the time. I credit your Saints all the time with the way they draft. I said it the other day. You guys have the best offensive line in the sport. You guys still took a lineman this year. You guys continue to focus on the offensive lineman. You took the lineman that I wanted. I love the way that the Saints draft. They build from the inside out. People don't realize that. They think they're this flashy team because of Sean Payton and Drew Brees. You guys have spent three or four first-round picks on the offensive line in the last 6 years. So I completely agree with the way the New Orleans Saints build their football team.
Guys, do me a favor. If you haven't done so, somebody just said we have 153 likes and 74 in the chat. Smash that thumbs up button. It helps out the stream. Please hit that thumbs up button. It's free to do that. So, yeah, nothing to lose by hitting that thumbs up button. Let's go. Helps the Giants out. Well, it helps the Lakers. I don't know what helps the Giants at this point. Have you ever been with a fat chick? Thank you for the super chat. Really says 1 of 3. I think you guys are blaming Reese for too much of what was Mara. First off, Mara blocked us from getting tonsil because of the weed incident. This is true.
That's fair. That's fair.
Fair.
I mean, if we
one thing I'll never forgive Reese for, he blocked McAdoo from getting Pat Mahomes. That will not. And the other thing Reese did that nobody talks about, and I've mentioned this before, way back in 2008, when we were ready to win another Super Bowl, the Chiefs offered us Tony Gonzalez for a 4th-round pick, and he said, no, I'll give you a 6th-round pick. Reese has done some really stupid things that didn't show up in the box score.
That's a good point he brings up about now. I don't know if Reese would have taken him. We'll never know if Reese was going to take him anyway, but that's a good point that you bring up. Mara, good chance he did block him from taking Tonsil. So it's a good point.
Prison Mike, thank you for the super chat. Brilly says MetLife Turf claimed one more victim, Noah Fant. Did Cager get hurt too? I thought Cager fell down on one of those.
There's been a couple of injuries tonight. One was nothing to do with the turf. It was Darnold, but there was 2 players that went down before.
Okay, though. Darnold came out.
Darnold came back, but there were 2 other players even before that went down with the turf. It's a big problem right now.
The turf sucks. This stadium is trash. What can you say?
Yeah.
They did a poor job with the stadium.
Yeah. It's a big problem.
Yeah, it looks like a dump to me. Yeah.
Kalen Dragon, have a good night.
All right. Have you ever with a fat chick? Again, thank you so much. Brilly, he says in 2017 draft, Mara refused to let us move on from Eli and rebuild. That's true. Part of us going all in 2016 was about Mara's delusion about Eli. Well, you got one thing. Go ahead, Chris.
Here's what I'll say about 2017. And obviously now you could say that looking back, but the fact of the matter is we were 11-5. We made the playoffs the year before. And Eli played well in that Green Bay game. The receivers just dropped all the balls. So I have no problem with the New York Giants saying to themselves, we still have a very strong defense. If we bring in a couple of offensive pieces here, we could compete. I can't get on them for not moving on from Eli Manning going into 2017. I personally don't think that's a fair criticism. I know the offense didn't play that well, but we were 11-5. We went to the playoffs the year before.
And what I was going to say about 2015, going into 2016, Eli Manning had the best statistical year of his career, 35 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. The Giants were losing games like 52-49, 38-35. So the offense was rolling in 2015, and the defense was awful. So Reese did try to bring in the defense, and that was why we did end up winning 11 games, but the offense completely fell off.
And I couldn't run
a lot. And I know that I swear to God, in my heart of hearts, I know when Coughlin left, that was it for Eli. Eli lost it.
Yeah.
Coughlin had such a great influence on Eli. I don't think that's talked about enough. Eli was never the same after Coughlin left. He just wasn't. He was not the same. He didn't look the same. He didn't play the same. I think that hurt him. I think that emotionally hurt Eli Manning when you've had a coach your entire career. And they did Coughlin dirty. They did him dirty. If you were going to spend all that money on the defense, let Coughlin coach that team.
I agree. That's that for they should, like I always say, they should have either just fired Reese or they should have fired both of them. They did the one thing of the 3 possible scenarios they shouldn't have done. It should have been either a clean break or a new GM because it wasn't Coughlin's fault. And then Reese went out there, tried to clean everything up with all of his bad drafts for one off season, and it worked for 1 year.
Chris, we got 900 people in here right now.
A lot of people need therapy, Bad.
It's unbelievable, guys. Thank you so much. Really, really, really appreciate the support tonight. This is unbelievable. Mark, thank you for the super chat. Really. Reese had Aaron Donald for the taking and took OBJ. Yeah, listen. With the way, yes, hindsight again.
You could also say Zach Martin, too.
With the way Odell Beckham played the first 2 years, nobody was thinking about Aaron Donald at that point.
You could say Martin, too, but at the end of the day, I can't complain with that pick. That was his best pick he's probably ever had. In terms of a first-round talent with Odell Beckham. So I can't really complain with that pick. You could make an argument that he definitely should have taken somebody else. The pick that pisses me off, and I'm not trying to bash Evan Ingram, the Evan Ingram pick never made any sense.
No, it didn't.
To me, that's almost worse than the Flowers pick. Flowers was worse, but the Flowers pick made sense. The Flowers pick, you were like, okay, he's trying to address the line. Ingram, there was no reason to take a Jimmy Graham-like tight end who can't block when our offensive line was crap to begin with.
Yeah.
So the Evan Ingram pick to me was horrible. And when you looked at, we could have gotten Watt or we could have gotten the Ramsick, the offensive lineman. Yep. It was an awful, awful pick.
That was a bad pick. Rolly, thank you for the super chat. Brilly. That was all. By the way, that was also the draft that they wanted to trade up and get Mahomes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that just made it worse. That he blocked McAdoo and said, nope, not trade up for Mahomes, not trade up for Deshaun Watson. We're going to take Evan Ingram.
Here's what I'll say, though, in fairness. And who knows, because everybody always says that. The Giants were picking, what, like 26 that year?
22nd.
Okay. I thought they were a little later. So they would have to jump up from 22 to 10. They probably could have done it. It would have taken a lot, but they probably could have done it.
Yeah, they could have. Rolly, you're the man. Thank you so much for the super chat, brother. Brilly says, you're right, but JR tried too. Drafted 2 first-round picks, Pugh and Flowers. Drafted Richburg in the second round, which I thought all 3 was the right pick at the time. It just didn't work out. We're saying Dave Gettleman tried. Well, JR tried it too. There's something about Justin Pugh. At that point, I thought that was a bad pick. They put him in there at tackle. He was terrible at right tackle. They moved him to guard. He was decent. They should have taken Tyler Eifert in that draft. We needed a damn tight end bad that year, and we didn't go with Tyler Eifert. I thought that was the right pick. As far as Flowers goes, my biggest contention with Flowers was the guy was a right tackle at Miami his entire career. Nobody projected him as a left tackle in the NFL, and they drafted him as a left tackle. And the reason he did that is because he wanted Brandon Sheriff, and the Washington Redskins took him, and he panicked. Just like he panicked with Eli Apple when the Bears traded up to get Leonard Floyd and the frickin' Titans traded up to get Coughlin in front of us. He didn't know what to do. He was never prepared, which is why Jerry Reese really ticked me off. In 2011, I keep going back to that. We don't need Prince Amukamara. We needed Mark Ingram. You draft Mark Ingram, guess what? 2012, you don't draft David Wilson, and it's completely different. So he started to falter years. I don't know. I mean, that 2011 pick to me, that draft started to take it down because he was good up until that point. But looking back at everything that he did, to me, he just started to fall up. And again, his second and third, fourth round, they were so bad.
Yeah,
they were so bad. I mean,
no, you outside of Landon Collins, who you hate,
he sucks.
But outside of him, and he was basically a first round pick. I think he was the first pick in the second round. Outside of him, he didn't have one guy in the roster that made it past 3 years on this team that was drafted in the second round or later for about a 5 or 6 year stretch. Yeah. So he was bad for 7 years. I credit him for the first 3 or 4.
I hate Landon Collins. Have you ever remember the fat chick? Brilly, man. Thank you for the super chases. But the thing is, the best teams trade their quarterbacks before they've declined. That's what the Colts did, and the Niners and the 90s Patriots this year.
They should have. They should have. I can't blame them for thinking at that point they could have competed. But yeah, hindsight 2020, they should have.
Hindsight is always 20.
Hindsight's always because I mean, like you just said, Eli had his greatest, even though we all know 2011 was his greatest year, but he had his greatest statistical year in 2015. He still showed that 35 touchdowns. I mean, I think he led the league in touchdowns that year. If not, he was second.
Close, right?
He was close. So a year before, and then he went to the playoffs the next year. 2018 is where you can start to criticize them, in my opinion, for not moving on from Eli Manning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because didn't they give him an extension at that point? Was it?
I think it was 2 years.
So in 2017 they gave him the money?
I think. I don't quote me on that. I think.
Yeah, I can't remember when they gave him that contract. For some reason, I thought it was 2 years. I thought it was 2018, 2000. I could be wrong on that too. I don't remember his last contract. But at that point, I was like, why are we keeping? I remember thinking, I'm like, I think it's time to move on from him.
Yeah.
I thought it was after 2016, maybe after 2017. I'm like, he's declining. We don't, and there's nothing around him to build on. Rolly, you're the man. Thank you for the super chat. Brilly. He says, that's a good point. Jerry Reese is ready to move on from Eli. And you could tell in his press conference he wanted to move on from Eli. We weren't a good 11-5 team, easy schedule, barely won games. I say that all the time, Rolly. 11-5 was a fluke. We played the easiest schedule known to man. We won every single game by less than a touchdown, I think, except for the one against Cleveland. And the only reason we won by more than that is because JPP had a pick 6. And then every time we played a good team, we got our asses kicked, except for Dallas. That year we swept Dallas, which was the highlight of that year.
Oh, yeah.
We got crushed by Green Bay. I forgot the other team the other team we lost to that we just got hammered. We lost to a bad Eagles team. I remember that. I was bad about that because we could have went to the playoffs. But
yeah, no, listen. I mean, yeah, like I said, hindsight's 2020, and yeah, if we go back in time, we would have made the move in 2017. I think it's fair to criticize the 2018, but then we always go back to 2018, and you agree with me. We think it's more Mara than Gettleman.
yes,
We think that Mara was the guy that said, no, Eli can still do it. I want to give him one more shot because he saw the way the fans responded in 2017. So if we're right, which we don't know if we are, it's not like we're a fly on the wall in their war room when they're talking about the draft. But if Mara was responsible for that, it's kind of hard to get on Gettleman for that. Gettleman did accept the job, probably because nobody else was willing to take it.
And the other thing is, in my opinion, Chris, I think they told him you got to win for Eli because of what Ben McAdoo did to him in 2017, and the ownership didn't block it, and he lost his streak when they benched him for Geno Smith. And I think that pushed ownership to say, no, we owe this to Eli Manning to try to get him another win.
Yeah,
I think that had a lot to do with it as well because that was not handled well. So
yeah.
Prison Mike with a funny one. Really, thank you for Suche says both the Giants and Jets have opted out of winning football games due to COVID-19 concerns. Please hire more computer guys. Hashtag fire Gettleman. Oh, the Jets are getting crushed. And they 27-16. Okay.
Oh, the Jets are losing?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, Chris. I thought the Giants didn't play till Sunday. Guys calling at the gang David. I'm like, I didn't think we played till Sunday. The Jets and Giants are carbon copies of one another. It's so sad.
Yeah.
It's so sad. Both of these teams just drafted quarterbacks. Both of these teams could be moving on from the quarterbacks in 2021. It's insane.
I really thought the Jets were going to win tonight because the Broncos are so banged up, but apparently not.
Good. Started off good. Waterfly says, hit that thumbs up, please. Yes, guys. We got almost 1,000 people in here. So, again, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. I mean, this is what I talked about at the beginning of my Daniel Jones video, how as bad as we are, this Giants community on YouTube is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Because other fan bases would be disappearing, and you guys, we get stronger. It's crazy. And I say it every week. Every week we do a show. Just wait till we're good.
Yeah.
Just wait till we're good.
It's definitely therapy, that's for sure. And then you got your big Laker game tomorrow. See everybody talking about that in the chat.
Yeah, that's The Lakers are taking on a life of their own for me. Pretty amazing. I still had over 100,000 views, even though stupid YouTube. Not only did they take my stream off the search engine, which they've done a couple of times, they ended one of my streams got ended in the middle of it, just for no reason. I had to restart it, so that was pretty insane. But yeah, those have been fun. 3 more games, and then the Yankees, and then I can just focus on nothing but football, which would be nice.
Yeah.
Robin Kular, thank you for the super chat. Brilly. Rumors of Steve Tisch getting frustrated with Gettleman. Do you think there's a divide right now between ownership views between Mara and Tisch? I think Tisch said that last year, that he was really pissed off and things were going to change.
There was and take it for what you will, there's a guy on Twitter his name is unnamed NFL source or whatever. He's the guy that supposedly always predicts who the Giants are going to draft in the first round. He doesn't have any credentials, and a lot of people take him for his word. He said that. He said that after the game that he received word that Tisch is not happy with Gettleman, but it's not like it's a credible source.
I received word that
I'm sure he's not happy.
Yeah, I was going to say I received word that there's millions of Giants fans that aren't happy.
Yeah, I feel like anybody could have wrote that. You know, Tisch is not.
That's what I mean. It's like, Triple A, thank you for the super chat. Brilly just says bad dog here. Have a Thomas Jefferson. I appreciate it, my man. Where are we? Where does it go? Have you ever remember the fat chick? Thank you so much. And again, one of the best names on you. Brilly. Dave Gettleman draft misses. Here we go. B.J. Hill instead of Fred Warner. Will Hernandez instead of Braden Smith. Joe Carter instead of Sam Hubbard. R.J. McIntosh instead of Maurice Hurst. That one I do remember getting mad at. He ended up going to the Raiders, if I'm not mistaken. He played at Michigan, and I really liked Maurice Hurst. And I was upset that the Giants – and I thought McIntosh was going to be pretty good because he did really good against Quentin Nelson in the college game that when they played. He dominated Quentin Nelson. But I really wanted Maurice Hurst. I remember that now that you mentioned it. I really liked him out of Michigan, and I could not believe he fell up for him. Like, the Giants got to take him. And I remember watching it with my brother-in-law, and he's a Raiders fan, and they ended up taking Maurice Hurst. So I know he liked that pick. Gettleman's drafts have been bad, man.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to defend them anymore. I mean, I could say every team passed up on those guys. They were going in the 3rd or 4th round. If Carter works out to be a good player, he's a good pick regardless who went after him, obviously. But you're talking 3rd or 4th round. You're not talking first round at that point. These are guys that people passed up on 3 or 4 times. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, if those guys don't turn out good, they were bad picks. I mean, Joe Carter hopefully progresses this year. BJ Hill hasn't been great. RJ McIntosh hasn't been able to get on the field. So I mean, I can't say they were good picks anymore. That's for sure.
Yeah, and it's tough when Gettleman's 9-26.
You can't defend him. I can't defend him.
So I had to do the video. I can't do it. And my brother-in-law, the Don, he loved that. He's like, yeah, there you go, my man. He's like, I love this video because he's not a Gettleman guy either.
Yeah.
He's not a good, and he rides me so hard about supporting Daniel Jones because he does not like Daniel Jones. He's like, dude, he stinks. What are you seeing? I'm like, man, I want to give him a chance. Like, dude, he sucks. We should have taken Josh Allen, all this stuff. Try to stick up for Daniel Jones. Like I said, it gets difficult. Then he has a bad game, and then of course he's like, I told you, man, dog, he sucks. I'm like, hey, I can't argue with you today. He was terrible. Independent outside. We have 1,000 people in here.
Crazy.
Unbelievable, man.
Crazy.
Unreal. Thank you guys so much. Independent Outsider, thanks for the super chat. Brilly says, Gettleman has to go. Players need to execute and not miss tackle to drop shovel passes. Judge said he'd adapt, right? Consistent, aggressive D play creates wide open passing lanes, as in 49ers game.
Yeah, I saw that on Twitter today. Somebody posted that the New York Giants have had the least amount of pre-snap motion in all of football, and the Niners have the most. But, yeah, here's what I'll say. I hope that they start to open up the playbook. I personally think, like they've said all along, this is kind of like a preseason, the first 4 or 5 weeks, that you're not getting the full playbook of the offense. I could be wrong. Like I've said all along, I'm going to wait till week 6 or 7 to really start to fully evaluate the play calling, the offense. They've got to get acclimated to everything else. But yeah, so far it's been vanilla, and it's left a lot to be desired.
And again, how much of that do you think has to do with Daniel Jones not making the pre-snap reads? See, one thing I'll say, you guys can say, we got to know wide receivers, we got to know this. And I get that. Our wide receiver core is thin, okay? It should have been decent enough, though. We went into the year going, this is decent enough. Quarterbacks also can make the receivers better, guys. It's not always just receivers making the quarterbacks better. I mean, you look at the guys Russell Wilson started with. It was like Richardson, Doug Baldwin, and I forgot the other guy. I saw it today, and he still, was winning Super Bowls with those guys. Now, granted, they had a great defense, but Russell Wilson's numbers were fantastic with mediocre wide receivers. So
I don't think anybody's going to confuse Daniel Jones for Russell Wilson.
But that's my point. A good quarterback can make his receivers look better than they are.
Yeah, well, he's a immortal.
Well, he's ridiculous.
Yeah, but as far as Strider says, I agree with him, and it's what I worry about with this offense going into the year. He says what Garrett wants to do in the air Coryell offense, he wants to throw balls down the field, and if you can't block, you're not going to be able to get the full repertoire. You're just not. And it's what I worried about going into the year. Shermer's offense, which Daniel Jones looked much better in last year, it was about getting the ball out quick. It was a West Coast style offense. Bing, bang, boom, bing. If you can't hold blocks, you're not going to be able to take those shots down the field. And that is what should open up the middle of the field when you start stretching out the defense on the outside.
But again, do you think that has to do with Daniel Jones unable to find where the blitzes are coming from and overload one side or another side and, point out and change the block?
I'm sure that has something to do with it. I'm not giving Daniel Jones a complete pass, but I think there's a lot more factors than just Daniel Jones.
Yeah, definitely not. Have you ever been with a fat chick? Really brilliant. By the way, the answer to that is no. Just so you know. A bad dog really was with dime pieces his whole life. A bad dog. Brilly says, at the end of the day, we need an outsider GM who respects analytics and understands positional value in the draft for the modern era of football. That's the problem with our owners. Our owners don't understand it's a different game.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's what they're going to do. I think they're going to, if they bring in an outsider, I think they'll bring in a guy that is more analytically driven. I think they probably will. I think that's where Judge's mind is at.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I like that we hired a good young head coach and they went out of the box. Yeah. I think that's the start. I think we need a good, innovative young GM and not a relic. I think that's a part of it too. JC, thank you for the super chat so much. I mean, Brilly, he says turnovers have to stop, but it can't be, you can't deal with a bad old line, a little wide receiver separation, no run game, so you suck. Even Watson had a run game, Hopkins in 17. What's acceptable? Struggle for a young quarterback. What's acceptable for a struggle for a young quarterback then? Sound like there isn't it. That's a fair point. I mean, that's a fair point, but Deshaun Watson's skill set is otherworldly. That's, I think, the thing with Daniel Jones. Like I mentioned, I compare him a lot to Dak Prescott. I think that if you have the right pieces around Daniel Jones, he can be a great quarterback. I think he can be top 8 like Dak is, right? But if you don't, he's going to struggle.
Here's what I'm going to say about why I was so upset on draft night when we took a quarterback, when we took Daniel Jones. We didn't have the team set up to support a quarterback like Daniel Jones. Right. We didn't, and that's why I was upset. Exactly. And it was the same thing with Barkley in 18. We didn't have the team to provide for a running back. A guy like Daniel Jones, and this isn't a knock on Daniel Jones. This is 95% of the starting quarterbacks in the NFL. There is a select few that can overcome things. You mentioned wrong. Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers is another, Pat Mahomes is another, and that's about it.
Tom Brady.
Drew Brees couldn't even do it because until they fixed that offensive line. And Tom Brady always had a very good offensive line with New England. I'm not saying he can't overcome it, but there's a very select few that can overcome the deficiencies of a football team. And Daniel Jones is not one of those quarterbacks. They said going into the draft that it was one of the worst quarterback drafts in quite some time. So that was why I was so upset that they took a quarterback. And it has nothing to do with Jones. I think Jones, with the right team around him, can be a good quarterback. I think the New York Giants, like they did for Barkley, set Daniel Jones up for failure. They brought him in before they were ready to support him.
Like the Jets did with Darnold. Same thing.
Yeah, I think they forced the pick. I think they forced the quarterback pick to make the fans happy. I think that's what happened. And I think it was a mistake.
That could be. I mean, and again, but that was my point, and that's what I'm saying. I don't think Dak Prescott would be good with the Giants. I think a guy like Dak Prescott, but Daniel Jones may not have the arm strength of Dak, but they're to me, they're similar. I mean, and if Daniel Jones had time to run and throw and locate and had a clean pocket and had Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup and
but we were nowhere near having that.
Goddard. Well, Blake Jarwin got hurt, I think, but you know what I'm saying.
Like you said in your video, I watched it yesterday. We were nowhere near having that. And in today's NFL, the key is to be able to get the most out of your quarterback on the rookie deal. We weren't going to be able to get the most out of him for at least the third year of that rookie contract. And by that point, the quarterback's looking for an extension. We were not set up to support a quarterback like Daniel Jones. So
definitely not.
That's my take.
Not to support a guy like Dwayne Haskins either.
And I still don't think we're set up to support him.
Neither was Washington.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't know. Mark Gettleman, thank you for the super chat. Brilly, he says Maurice Hurst had that heart problem. But sometimes you got to, to me, and I know that, but sometimes you just got to take a chance.
Yeah.
It's a 4th round pick. Sometimes you just got to say the hell with it. I want the best player on the board or whatever. I don't know. I mean, because a 4th round pick doesn't always pan out anyways. You hope they do, but they're in the 4th round for a reason. He fell because of the heart problem, but not because of his lack of talent. So to me, I'm just like, give the guy a shot. I mean, Quinn Osborne, thank you for the super chat. Brilly, my man says DJ will end the year as our highest rusher. Thoughts?
I'll tell you what, I tweeted it today when I was watching the Jet game. Sam Darnold rushed for 63 yards on the opening drive. He was 15 yards away from the amount of rushing yards our running backs have for the entire year on the first drive of tonight's game. That's how pathetic our run game is.
That is sad. Daniel Jones, like both of our tweets, Daniel Jones has more rushing yards than the entire team.
Yeah, it's pathetic.
Zach Phillips, thank you for the super chat. My man Brilly says, I hope this doctor visits go well tomorrow. 1 week past my wife's due date. I'm hoping I will be a father tomorrow. Zach, that is absolutely awesome. Congratulations, my man. I'm going to say this about your wife's due date. My wife, we had a son 3.5 years ago. Can't believe it's been that long. Little Baddog has his own personality. If you've ever seen him on stream, some of you have, you can see he's an absolute lunatic like his father, okay? But my wife was due. He was 16 days late. And the reason was not because of anything that was going on, but the doctor said if his head is tilted a little bit this way or a little bit that way, he ain't going to come out. They're going to have to do a C-section because he said that the head has to almost go down like you're screwing in a light bulb. And if it's off a little bit or whatever, the light bulb's not going to screw in. So maybe that's what's going on, Zach. But that is absolutely awesome. Congratulations. Nothing like adding an addition to your family, man. It's the coolest thing ever. You're going to notice that your kids do exactly what you do without you teaching them. That was the funniest thing to me, was watching my son from day one take 1 foot out of it. He was swaddled and didn't like it. Had to kick a foot out of the blanket. I always sleep with 1 foot out of my blanket. That type of thing just cracked me up. I'm like, oh, my God. Like he sits Indian style like I do. Like always, if I'm on the floor, I always sit in the inside. He sits just like that every time. It's hilarious. It's just funny how they inherit weird things that you do. Which my kid inherited every freaking weird thing that I do. If he trips on something or bangs his foot on something, he gets mad at it just like I do. It's wow. Good luck, world. You got another one of me running around, and that's going to be difficult for the world. Rolly, thank you for the super chat. Brilly says, I hope I'm wrong. But ain't stupid. Either this organization could be in the dumps for a while. I said it 3 years ago that we would be there, and here we are. Totally agree with, have you ever been with a fat chick?
Yeah. Here's what I'll say, man. If we draft a quarterback number 1 overall, and I'm hoping we don't, because that means we're starting a completely new rebuild. We will not be a competitive team next year. I'm telling you right now. I don't care how good the guy is. It is going to be a completely new rebuild if you take a quarterback in next year's draft. My hope is Daniel Jones progresses this year, shows signs of being a franchise quarterback, and we get some picks that could help out next year's team. That's what I'm hoping. But we're probably 2 years away from being a competitive football team, for being honest.
I'll do my time off because 5 years ago, I screamed when we hired Ben McAdoo. The rant is on my channel. And I say right in that video, this is going into the 2016 season. It's going to take the Giants 5 years to get out of this mess. I say it right in there because of the way their organization was being run. I said it's going to take 5 years for us to get out of this. This is our 5th year. So maybe 2021 we do get out of it. But
I hope.
I knew that was just not good. I knew everything that they were doing was not good. NYG31, thank you for the super chat. My man, Brilly. He says Daniel needs to audible out of certain situations and read defense. He does.
Yeah, I agree with that.
He's got to get better at that for sure. Have you ever been with a fat chick, man? Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. I've never seen this name, so I don't know if you're new to the channel. If you are, I mean, thank you so much for being here, or if you change the name. But obviously, I would have never forgot that name because
that's not a name that you could forget.
You know with a fat chick, Chris?
Yeah.
Okay. I just like that was good. I like that. He says, Brilly, my man. He says, I like DJ, but I think he was a 2nd-round guy. The expectations are now for him to be a star. I don't know if he's that type of guy. The Giants needed OBJ and O-line and a pass rusher before getting DJ. As the kid was 100.
Yeah, I mean, that was the problem. I think that the expectations were way too high for Daniel Jones because of where we drafted him, and we didn't have the team set up to support him. And that was the main reason why I was upset on draft night.
Upset is an understatement.
I love Josh Allen.
Upset was an understatement. Chris broke his headphones.
Yes, I did.
think I broke the sound barrier with my my vocal cords. We weren't happy. We were not. We thought it was just smoke and mirrors.
If there was a quarterback on the level of the guys that are coming out this year in that draft, I would have been happy. Right. But and it was nothing against Jones, but there wasn't game changers at the position.
Exactly. We needed our pass.
And it was known as a defense. It was kind of like this year's draft. This year's draft was known as a tackle-rich draft. So I wanted to tackle. The year before, it was known as a defense-rich draft. The first, 15 picks, 13 were on the defensive side of the football, or maybe 12. So that's why I wanted them to go Josh Allen.
Yeah, I agree. I was like, we can wait because we still had Eli. So I was like, we're not ready to win yet. So let Eli finish out his career. Let's build for the next guy. I was with you. Let's get a defense in here. And, we'd already had Saquon. So I'm like, let's just get our defense right and then work on our offensive line. And then you get the quarterback in here. And again, Daniel Jones from Duke, I'm like, why would they do – it just didn't make sense to me. Then I watched this film and I became a fan. I said he's got a lot of good skills. He's a lot more skilled than I thought he was. And he had very bad talent at Duke.
Well, once they draft him, what choice do you have but to get behind him and give the guy a chance? And that's what all Giants fans have done. And I think I'm still giving him a chance. I'm continuing to give him a chance. Not all. You're right. There's a lot to have.
I know Mr. Abbey, if he's here, he never likes number 8. Ramon Kular, thank you for the super chat. Brilly says, I hate this comparison of Daniel Jones to Josh Rosen that I'm seeing more and more online. Can you guys just address this garbage comparison? I don't think Rosen ever got a chance. I don't know much about Josh Rosen. Except we had a strong arm. He had a bad attitude and a strong arm. That's what I know about Josh Rosen.
I think Rosen. I didn't want Rosen for his attitude. His talent was good. Yep. I mean, everything you heard from the professional scouts, he had the talent. He had the arm. Yep. I think much like Darnold, I think much like Jones, I think they set Rosen up for failure, and he's never gotten an opportunity to succeed. I think Rosen, if he's on the Cowboys, like Baddog saying about Jones, could be a good quarterback.
Me too.
I just don't think most good quarterbacks in the league are set up for success. The quarterbacks we're talking about have not been. Baddog doesn't like Darnold. I do. I think Darnold's a good quarterback. I think he got screwed. And I think the same thing for Rosen, and I think the same thing for Jones. I think they all got horrible situations.
Speaking of which, the Jets are about to come back and take the lead in this game. It's 27-25 when they're in field goal range.
There you go.
Have you ever been with a fat chick? Thank you, my man. Really really appreciate all the support tonight.
I have been.
Have been what? Oh, yeah. I just like, yeah. If DJ were picked in the second or third round, he'd have less pressure to be able to develop. Since he was picked at 6, the expectations are honest and fair. Oh, completely. Because you can't. The reason is because you can't miss there. You need a guy at number 6 to come in and make an immediate impact. And you knew he wasn't going to. Now, he got in there quicker than a lot of people thought he was going to. I mean, I was calling for him because I figured the Giants season was a throwaway after he lost the first 2 games. Like, bring him in there. Let's see what we can do. Get him the experience. And he did play really well the first game. And then, obviously, he went through his growing pains. But, yeah, I mean, I agree. I do. I think if he was picked later, it wouldn't be as big of a deal. But you can't miss there. And unfortunately, he just hasn't, like Chris said, there's no team around him. And he doesn't have the skill set to succeed without good pieces around him.
Like 95% of the quarterbacks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mark Gettleman, thank you for the super chat. Really says, did you guys want Bradley Chubb instead of Barkley? I wanted Barkley. I'm not going to lie.
I wanted them to trade down on draft night, but if they didn't, I wanted Barkley.
I wanted Barkley. The only thing I'll say about that, when I did the video back in 18, when I talked about, and this is March of 2018 when I was a lot fatter, which was pretty funny to see my face like this big. I said that the Giants should trade Beckham to Cleveland. And in that video, I said, I would, maybe Saquon Barkley's not the guy. I would like to get an offensive lineman or a pass rusher and get Nick Chubb. I mentioned Nick Chubb and Sony Michel in that video as well. I said we could get those guys in the second round. So, I mean, I wanted Barkley at number 2, but at the same time, I would have been fine getting Nick Chubb or Sony Michel later in the draft. I mean, that's because I thought that Sony Michel was on the same level as Saquon in college. I did.
Yeah. It's just bad luck, man, with the injury and everything.
It's
and they didn't set him up. Like they didn't set up Jones. They didn't set up Barkley.
But it didn't seem like it mattered his rookie year.
It didn't, but it did. Because Barkley in his rookie year, the stats were great, but most of those stats came on chunk plays.
Yeah.
He didn't have the consistency. We always talked about that. He never got 17-8 because the offensive line wasn't good. The Giants couldn't consistently get that push, and he was so good that he would just break 3 or 4 huge plays a game, and that's where all his yards would come from. So, yes, it didn't in terms of the yardage and the statistics, but we couldn't get a consistent ground game, even with Saquon Barkley.
Yeah. Well, you know what's funny, Chris, is that, the guy that was Gucci with it has been the most critical of Daniel Jones.
Rover hates Daniel Jones now.
I know he does. Liked it that night. Chisel, thank you for the super chat. Billy says, I'm sorry for being late. I'm here. You guys don't ever need to apologize for being late, missing a stream. Life happens.
Yeah.
We are secondary to life.
Yeah.
Maybe secondary to life and something else.
That's what you bring up. That's what I find ironic because I feel like I was the one that was slowest to get on the Daniel Jones train. I criticized him on draft night. And I never have once called him Danny Dimes. I never once said he was going to be an elite quarterback. I never once said he was going to even be a franchise quarterback. Now, sometimes the videos I get into it, but I always had a wait and see approach with Danny Jones, and I still do. I still think it's too early. I think people that are saying that we have to move on, it is way too premature. And people that are saying that he's a franchise quarterback and that he's a no-doubt star, it's way too premature. We don't know yet.
I thought the guy was going to be great. I mean, I do. I still believe in him. I still like his skill set, man. But, this thing is just deteriorating around him. And I'm more upset at, like I said, just the bad decision-making because I feel like that can be avoided, and I feel like he has to do a better job of that stuff. I know there's no talent there, but I feel like his mistakes are forced, and I don't like that. That's why I've been critical of him. I mean, if he's just throwing incompletions because guys aren't open or he's taking sacks because of coverage sacks, okay, that's fine. But like I said, there's some bad decisions that have really turned the games around for us, and that's kind of bothering me. Mr. Ray Lewis Sr. says, hey, Baddog, Sunday we get an LA versus New York. Finally. Okay, it's not the Dodgers-Yankees, but it's still LA, New York. We will crush you. I think the Rams -9 is an absolute lock. I don't bet on Giants games, but if I was going to, that to me, Rams -9 in Los Angeles, yeah, I think that should be pretty easy money if you're asking me. Now, they're the freaking Giants. The most Giant thing to do would be go over there and win because that's what the Giants do.
I'll say right now, I'm in a knockout pool. I picked the Rams this week.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I'm not going to lie to you guys. I don't think we're winning.
There you go. JC, thank you for the super chat. My man Brilly says, Mara, Judge, no guarantee to move on from DJ. Judge hired partly because he liked DJ. What does it communicate if Judge suddenly wants to move on? Bad look. Well, I don't think Judge has much of a say, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't think it's up to Judge. I mean, it all depends on what they do at the GM position. If they hire from within with a guy like Kevin Abrams, expect to see Daniel Jones stay on. That would be what I would expect. That would be the main reason why you would bring somebody from within, because they wouldn't break up everything. But if they hire somebody from the outside, I don't think Judge is going to have much say as to what they're going to do at the quarterback position.
I agree. And I don't know why we would hire from the inside. Because if you're looking at this thing, Abrams isn't going to be much different than Gettleman. And what you're doing is not working at all. You need something completely different. Like, they went completely out of the box with Joe Judge. So maybe if they move on from Gettleman, maybe they go completely out of the box with a GM. That'd be nice.
I agree. But the one thing I will say, if you go completely out of the box with a GM, it immediately puts Joe Judge on the hot seat.
It's true.
Because that's not the coach that he hired. I'm inheriting a 39-year-old coach next year that has a record of 3-13, we'll say. So that immediately puts Joe Judge on the hot seat if you don't hire from within.
You can blame the ownership for that, because when they got rid of Coughlin, they should have got rid of Reese, and that would have put it.
Or they should have gotten rid of Gettleman when they got rid of Shermer, and they would have hired a GM with the coach, and they would have been lockstep, but they didn't do that.
They got to do that.
Yeah.
Well, you never know. Judge might be going after 1 year. They might just say, to hell with it. We're blowing everything up.
I hope not. I hope
not too, but that you never know.
I'll tell you right now, I will flip out. It will make my Daniel Jones reaction video look like rated G if they do that after 1 year. I will flip out.
There you go. Have you ever been with a fat chick? Thank you so much again, my man. Brilly says, I don't think DJ was ever in Gettleman's plans, to be honest. I think Mara liked him. I think the plan was to rebuild the defense and the O-line and take a quarterback in 2020. I guess we'll never know. The one thing that really concerned me when we took Daniel Jones, when I listened to Dave Gettleman said he watched one series at the Senior Bowl and was sold. That will never leave my head. I'm like, how can you watch a guy one series at the Senior Bowl? And we love Senior Bowl MVPs. Daniel Jones, Davis Webb, Kyler Loletta. Yeah, all Giants, all Senior Bowl MVPs. What are they doing now?
I think Gettleman's a lot of talk. I think he's a guy, the touch with the hand of God, blah, blah, blah. I think he likes to I personally, from everything you heard, it seemed like it was more Shermer's guy, and it seemed like the Giants had their eyes on him long before Gettleman even got there. So, him and Eli were working out. So I don't know. I think that the Giants knew that he was going to be their guy. I think they knew that years in advance, that they were at least keeping their eye on Daniel Jones.
Yeah. And that's fair. And I think that's a big reason they traded Odell Beckham, because they didn't want Odell Beckham in his ear. I really do. Because I think that they believed that a rookie quarterback couldn't handle him. Eli could. And Eli still had a hard time handling Odell Beckham. So
I definitely think that's why they traded Odell Beckham.
I do too.
Yeah.
Because it's not like Beckham was like getting in trouble off the field. He was just kind of a TO type of guy where he was just kind of a nuisance, but nothing serious.
Yeah.
Like the boat trip is the biggest thing with him, or whatever, the made-up stories about crap. But he's a weirdo. Let's just face it.
Yeah.
If you remember the fat chick, thank you for the super chat. Brilly says, I blame my buddy Fisk for getting me hyped for DJ. Listen, I'm big on DJ. I never called that guy Peyton Manning with legs.
Yeah, that was a little over the top.
Fisk, I love him, but he goes over the top with a lot.
Yeah.
I just saw him do a video. He's like, the Bills aren't top 10 in the league. I'm like, man, come on. They're good. The Buffalo Bills they're good.
I'll tell you what, Josh Allen's legit. And now they got a defense. The way Josh Allen is they had a defense, and now Josh Allen looks like he's legit. The guy leads the league in passing yards. He's got, I think, 11 or 12 touchdowns and a pick. I don't know how you could view the Bills right now as not one of the top 5 or 6 teams in the NFL.
Completely agree. Rolly, thank you for the super chat. Brilly says, at least you're honest about that, Chris. I've never been with a fat chick. I only see Roldy's related to me. He says I only mess with dimes, just like me, dime pieces. But I heard they got that good kitty. Is that true, Chris?
Roldy. I don't know. I don't know what to say to that, Roldy. I was going through a dry spell. I did what I had to do. You do what you have to do. Okay, and I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that.
Look said it all. I think I didn't even think he needed to answer it. They sometimes a picture's worth 1,000 words. That stare was worth 1,000 words, or 1,000 Twinkies if she was really big. Who knows? After fat chick, Brilly says, Chris, I went with a fat chick to the prom in 2019. Nice.
All right.
Big girls need loving too. Yeah. Big girls need loving.
Yeah, I'm an honest guy. I tell you, I don't lie to you guys. I
wouldn't lie either. I just I don't.
I didn't brag about it.
Yeah, no, you don't. Like I said, you do what you got to do.
Yeah, I didn't brag about it.
Chislo, thank you for the super chat. Brilly says my prediction: Danny has a good game, but we lose. I can live with that. I can too. I want to see Jones go out there, not turn the ball over. Don't give me a 65-70% completion and not turn the ball over. If we lose a close game, I'm fine with that. Yeah, I can live with that.
Yeah.
Vladimir Putin, my favorite Russian. Thank you for the super chat. Brilly says Philly 500 said Wentz is playing bad because they drafted Hurts and it's in his head. I guess he's just that weak mentally. Also, Wentz, Haskins, and Jones have a combined 9 touchdowns and 13 picks. Ouch.
I disagree. Personally, I don't think that's why Carson Wentz had more pressure with Nick Foles. Nick Foles went on to win a Super Bowl. And the next year he was his backup again. I think that it has everything to do with the fact that your offensive line is complete and their offensive line, rather, Putin's a Cowboys fan, is complete and utter trash. And that was one thing that Wentz always had. He always had a top 5, 6, 7 unit in the league. This year, they had major injuries to that offensive line, and I think you're starting to see the effect. So I think it has more to do with that than anything else.
Frank Reich, I said it before. Them losing Frank Reich, he was never the same. Frank Reich made Carson Wentz. And that offense that Frank Reich had in there was perfect for him. And who they brought in there afterwards, it has not helped. And granted, there's another team with no wide receivers.
Yeah.
There's another team with no wide receivers. I thought Wentz was way better than he was. I definitely overhyped him. There's no doubt about it. He is the worst rated quarterback in the league. Daniel Jones is the second worst in the league. Sam Darnold is the third worst in the league. I think Dwayne Haskins is the fourth. Funny stat, Russell Wilson has as many touchdowns as every quarterback in the NFC East combined. That includes Dak Prescott. He's got 14 touchdowns. We have 14 touchdowns in our division.
Now, I saw that stat today. Somebody you probably saw the comment on my video, right? Somebody posted that on my video today.
Might have been on your video, yeah.
Yeah, I saw it. I was like, wow, that is a crazy stat. Yeah, it is a crazy stat.
Broncos about to score. Yeah, they just missed a wide open. I don't know if that was Judy that was running free down the seam, but he missed him completely. Have you ever been with a fat chick? Again, man, thank you so much. Brilly says, I also think Wentz's injuries are catching up to him. Before that, his athleticism helped to bail out bad plays. His football IQ needs to improve. Yes, it does.
Yeah, he's definitely a guy that's been riddled with injuries. And then you couple with that with the fact that he's got a banged-up offensive line, it's certainly not helping him. And I'm sure that's messing with – we saw what it did with Eli. Wentz is getting to finally see what it's like to be Eli Manning. Eli Manning had to deal with a crappy offensive line the entire second half of his career, and it probably screws with you mentally too. You have a clock in your head. Well, he's not going to be able to block for me for more than 2.5 seconds. I'm used to being able to have 4 seconds. So I think that it's an effect. I think he's not used to having an offensive line this bad because it is bad. They give 8 sacks week 1 to Washington. Right,
and they all got hurt. So
yeah.
If nothing else is making me happy this year, watching that team go down in flames has made me happy. Those guys are talking about 11, 12 wins for the Eagles this year, and now they're talking about put Jalen Hurts in there, tank for Trevor Lawrence, this and that. Man, that's a thing of beauty. If we could just turn the damn thing around and they could be as bad as us and we could win a Super Bowl, that would just make. But they'd all be off of YouTube.
I just want to beat the Eagles this year. I just want to beat. If we win 2 games this year, let's sweep the Eagles.
I agree. That's what I've said. If we go win 2 games,
let's clip those wings. Let's clip those wings.
I see my man Triple J said D'Antoni might be able to coach the Sixers. They're talking about. I thought that Doc Rivers took the Sixers job. I
heard that today.
That Doc Rivers took that Sixers job, Jay. So I think that Rivers Has it?
And I saw, yeah, Gary just wrote that in the chat too. I saw people like 3 weeks ago saying how bad of a coach Doc Rivers is and how he screwed up, I think with the Clippers, right? I saw that all over Twitter, so it was an interesting hire.
Oh, they did blow a lot of leads. I mean, they had a 16-point lead in each one of those last 3 games that the Nuggets came in the third quarter, and they came back and beat them every time. So, I mean, Rivers, I don't know how good of a coach he is. Again, look at how good the Celtics teams are ridiculous he had. The Clippers teams are ridiculous he had. They should have at least made it to the Lakers, in the final, in the Western Conference.
I always liked Doc. Former Nick, and he seemed like I liked him. He seems like a tough guy. I always liked him, but that's kind of been the storyline that's been coming out of him over the last month, and he immediately got a job. Charles
Meckwood says, I love to see the Eagles crash and burn. Yeah, I think all Giants fans enjoy that. Yo, again, guys, thank you. 1,035 in here. Thank you so much tonight, guys. Really do appreciate it.
We're going to be on my channel next week, and then you come back here the week after. You do it
I told you guys in the stream, guys, like, you're not a fan. I said, listen, I'm making 3, 4, 5 videos a week. Chris and I are going to be streaming the Giants games every week. We'll be doing Talking Giants every week. So make sure you guys hit that thumbs up button. More importantly, make sure you go into that description. Sub up this man over here, the beautiful Italian on my left, I think he is. But sub up, we'll be over there again next week. Of course, we'll be on my channel this week for the Rams and Giants live stream. And hey, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, do that as well. Make sure you subscribe to both channels. Make sure you ring the bell notification so you know when we do this great show with the best chat on YouTube, the best fan base on YouTube. And of course, we can all either suffer or celebrate together when we stream the game. So thank you guys for being here. It's been unbelievable support tonight. Really do appreciate it. Rolly, thank you for the super chat. Brilly. He says, with our luck, by the time we play the Eagles, they'll start to turn things around. Yes, Doc Rivers is the new head coach of the Sixers. I thought I saw that. I saw. Have you remember the fat chick also said that up there? So,
yeah, you're right though. It seems like we always find a way to lose to the Eagles. Doesn't matter. Hopefully that doesn't happen this year.
I just want to beat them. Just want to rub it in. Just want to throw some salt in their wound for once. Be like, you guys just lost to the Giants. I'm like, what does that feel like? Because I won't know what it's like to beat them. I haven't beat them in 3 years. I haven't beat the Cowboys in 3 years either. That's not going to be pretty either. That's going to be a rough one. That's going to be rough. Dire Giants fan, one of our best. Brilly, thank you so much for the super chat. What up, guys? Just tuning in. But if Judge gets fired after his first season, I'll lose my. If that happens, we can sign a petition for ownership to sell. I think we should do it anyway.
I just said that. Dyer, that's funny that you brought that up when you came in. I said it will make my Daniel Jones reaction video look like it's G-rated. I will probably be kicked off YouTube. I'll be that pissed off if they were to do that after just 1 year.
If EDP doesn't get kicked off, you won't. Nobody can get more mad than that guy. That's the truth. God, he cracks me up. I mean, I just can't. I never can. When the Eagles are bad, I'm like, I just can't wait to, because he rips the Eagles more than me. Like, nobody tears into that franchise more than him. He's taking his Carson Wentz picture off the wall. He's throwing it into the garbage. He took a Doug Peterson book. He chucked it in the dumpster. I'm like, see, this is what I want to do to the Eagles stuff. I just don't have any. So I'm like, that's my kindred spirit. That's what I would do with that crap if I had it. I would toss it away. Rod Gellis, thank you for subscribing to both of us. Appreciate it. Sabrina's in the house. What's going on? Steve says Eagles will be 9-7, Cowboys 6-10, Giants doesn't know, Washington 1-15. I don't think the Eagles are going to be 9-7, Steve.
Yeah, if you look at the Eagles' schedule, Steve, it is hard for me to find 9 wins. It is hard, and they got a tie already, so they're not going to go 9-7.
Right.
But I'll tell you what, if they go 7-8-1, they might win the division. It's that bad.
That's very possible.
Yeah,
I said it. Listen, 2 things I said at the beginning of the year, and I think it's going to happen. I said, number 1, no team in this division is winning more than 9 games. And number 2, I think the team with the best divisional record is going to win this division. And that's true. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if the Giants go 5-1 in this division and find 2 wins outside of the division, go 7-9, it is very possible they win the division.
Yeah,
very possible.
Dallas
to me is. Talent-wise, I think they're superior to every team in this division. I think Dallas should run roughshod through this division. But that doesn't mean they will.
Yeah.
They really are one stupid collapse, and the Falcons looking at an onside kick on the ground while Dallas ran and covered from being 0-3. They are an absolute collapse away from being 0-3. They were getting killed in that game. They really should be 0-3.
The Cowboys can't win on the road. I've talked about this now all year. They've won 3 road games in the last now out of 10 They're 3-7 in their last 10 road games, and their only 3 wins on the road came against the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th pick of last year's draft. The Giants, Washington, and Detroit without Matt Stafford. They've lost to the Jets on the road. They've lost to the Bears last year on the road. And they lost now to the Rams and the Seahawks on the road. They can't win on the road. They can't beat bad teams on the road, let alone good teams.
And they should be 0-3.
Yeah.
Thank you for the super chat. Brilly, he says, sup, YouTube dad. YouTube dad, that's me. Chris, Rams 35, Giants 10.
Yeah, I think that's a fair estimate. I don't want to say that as a Giant. Maybe I'm hoping to be closer than that, but I don't think it's going to be that close. I think they're a much better football team than we are.
I agree. And I said 30-13 Rams. I think that's which I can see that.
I hope we're wrong and we upset them, but I'm not going into there with unrealistic expectations in LA. I'm just not.
And the Rams are damn good. Rams are damn good. Have you ever been with a fat chick? You're the man. Brilly says the Eagles honestly have a lot of bandwagon fans. Oh, of course. Trust me, I've been on YouTube. I was here in 2008, 2009, and then I took a 5-year break. I've been here since 2014. I know they are. I've seen the influx of Eagle fans after the Super Bowl as opposed to before it. I can tell you Nitro Freak was here the whole time. I can tell you Desert Eagle was here the whole time. EDP was here the whole time. I think that's it.
Here's what I'll say, though, to that, Baddog. If the Giants get good, there's going to be a lot of – that's just the way it works. When a team gets good, you get bandwagon fans.
I don't remember influx of Giants fans up here.
No?
I don't.
Maybe I'm wrong. I expect it. I expect that all of a sudden when the Knicks get good, everybody's going to be a Knicks fan. And when the Giants –
that may never happen again.
I just think that's what happens when your team gets good. All of a sudden people are fans.
Yeah, no, I understand. Have you ever been with a fat chick? Thanks for the super chat again, my man. Brilly says Washington wins the division at 5-10-1. Oh, God.
They could.
Chisel, thank you for the super chat. Brilly. Cowboys 6 wins, Eagles 5, Redskins and Giants 4.
Very possible.
This division is so freaking bad. It's funny. It's funny that it's so bad. Dire Giants fan, you're the man. Thank you for the super chat. Brilly's Rams and Cowboys are running us over. They're probably not the only ones that are running us over. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
Zach Phillips, thank you for the super chat. Brilly says DJ took a bad Duke team to 8-4. Yes, he won 2 bowl games there. And like I said, when I went back and I watched a film on him and said, this guy's got no talent. 2 guys besides him were invited to the combine. None of them made the NFL. And as I said with Dwayne Haskins, when I made this comparison that Daniel Jones would be better than Dwayne Haskins, I said Dwayne Haskins had 6 NFL players on his offense.
Yeah, and he had Paris Campbell and Terry McLaurin, 2 great wide receivers.
J.K. Dobbins came out this year. He was also on that, and he had 2 offensive linemen as well.
Yeah.
So, pretty good stuff around him, and they don't have that at Washington. And I figured he might struggle because he was never good under pressure anyway, and it's showing up in Washington now. The Redskins fans are done with him too. Like, yo, he sucks. It's just happening, No. They're impatient too. It's another franchise can't win. I mean, Washington fans are impatient too. We're all in the same boat. Jets fans are in the same boat as us. Washington fans, Giants fans, we have a lot in common.
Everybody wants to win. Trust me. We want to win. We just don't. I personally just don't think it's the right approach to just constantly flip and flip and flip. But and I think that's why we are a part of the reason why we are where we are.
The hard thing about that, Chris, is you can't get rid of all 53 guys. And
I'm not even talking about the players. I'm more so talking about the coaching staff.
No. That's what I'm saying. You can't get rid of everybody. So you're just like, we got to get rid of the coach, or somebody needs to take. There's a fall guy.
Yeah,
we got to get rid of the guy that drafted it. We got to get rid of the coach.
Yep.
Get rid of all you can't get rid of every player, so we gotta make somebody the fall guy.
Yeah.
Amy Sandy, thank you for the super chat. Brilly says best and safest GM is if DG gets fired. For Judge, in my opinion, is Nick Casario. But I definitely agree we need somebody outside the box, nothing in-house. Nick Casario is a name I've heard a lot.
Yeah, that's a good one that you brought up. And there was actually somebody in my Discord showed me this. There was an article that came out in 2017 when the Giants were looking to hire Dave Gettleman that Nick Casario came out and said, I'd be open to taking that job with the New York Giants. He obviously has ties to Judge with the New England Patriots. That's why it makes sense, because you would think that they have a working relationship and he wouldn't be looking to bring in another head coach. Judge wouldn't feel like he's got somebody breathing over his neck. I agree. I think that's a really good fit.
How about we demote Judge back to where he was, and we bring in Bill Belichick and have him coach us. And
the thing I'll say with Nick Caserio though is, if you're Nick Caserio, right now you're in a situation where you're probably next in line to become the GM of the New England Patriots. Why would you be so quick to get out of there?
That's a lot of pressure to follow in those footsteps.
It is.
Are going into a no-lose situation with the Giants. You have everything to lose in the Patriots.
Well, don't say no lose. I mean, we flip people. We flip people every 2 years.
If he comes in here and does a good job, he'll be revered as a hero. Or if he turns the team around, he can get a better job, a better promotion, more money. Whereas if you go to the Patriots and you collapse that franchise, you're never getting the job as a GM.
No, I'm just saying. If I'm looking at both organizations, the Patriots have been a much more stable organization than the New York Giants have.
Well, ownership is better. And by the way, Nick Caserio is obviously Italian, so he should come here. That's obviously a big plus. Just like in the Bronx Tale. You know why DiMaggio was so good? Because he was Italian? Well, that's part of it. So there you go.
Yeah.
You're a Giants thing of it, a super chat. Brilly, my man. He says, hey, guys, obviously we are headed for some changes at GM. Do you think we go out and get some idiot like Jeffrey Abbey or Fisk Vegas? Well, we don't need to call them names. They just have different opinions than us. But probably not going to ask Jeffrey Abbey or Fisk for their opinion, just like they're not going to ask me or Tainah for our opinion, although they definitely should ask us. I'll just leave it.
Well, Jeffrey Abbey definitely it would not. We wouldn't be able to work together if we were on the same. We would butt heads too much. We wouldn't be able to work together. You got to have good continuity.
Yeah. Chisel, thank you for the super chat. Brilly says Eagles Instagram went for 300K to 1.5 after that bowl. That makes sense. Told you, I saw it on YouTube too. I'm just like, yeah, these guys all of a sudden they're popular. They weren't before. And it just didn't happen. Zach James, thank you for the super chat. Brilly. He says, as a Cowboys fan, I'm not panicking yet since we lost to good teams by one score on the road. But if we lose to the Browns, I'm drinking. You guys are beat. Dallas is a good team.
Here's what I'll say about Dallas. I don't think you should be panicking in terms of the division. I think you guys are still clearly in the driver's seat. If you went into the year expecting Super Bowl contender, I think you should be panicking. I think your secondary is bad.
Overall is bad.
Yeah, your linebacker core is
big loss.
Yeah, and to me, you guys haven't learned from last year. Like last year, I looked at the Dallas Cowboys and I said, this is clearly obvious what they're doing wrong on offense, and they're doing the same thing. Dak leads the league in passing yards. That's not the type of offense they should be running. They should have a more balanced attack. You have Ezekiel Elliott. That would be discouraging to me as a Cowboy fan. They're still throwing the ball at an alarming rate. I wouldn't be happy about that if I were a Cowboy fan. But in terms of the division, I wouldn't be panicking.
Do you think that's because they've been behind in these games?
Yes, but I don't know. I still think they're throwing the ball way
They
too
also
much.
drafted CeeDee Lamb. I mean, you obviously want to pass more if you got a CeeDee Lamb, and that's Kellen Moore's offense. It's chuck the ball.
I know. I don't think he's a good fit there.
I don't either. I think that I said this 2 years ago. I was saying this to Jeremy Bramlett, and I was saying this to all the other Cowboys fans. I'm like, I'll win you the Super Bowl. You're going to use Zeke 30 times a game.
Yeah.
You're going to win, just like they did in 2016 when Dak was just kind of a game manager. And he only threw 4 interceptions. He only threw 23 touchdowns, but they were 13-3, and they just ran the ball down your damn throat.
Yeah.
And that's what you do, in my opinion. Rich, thank you for super chat. Really says, the Giants make me sick, but love the content, guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rich Boy. Appreciate it.
Very much, as always. Have you ever heard of the fat chick? Brilly? He says, how good is Caserio, though? Is it just Bill Belichick?
Well, here's the thing I'll say about Caserio, and I don't know much about him other than the fact that I know he's got ties to Judge. The New England Patriots have drafted horribly. Go back and look at it. Now, granted, they've been picking at the back of the draft. Not many teams have drafted worse than the New England Patriots over the last 4 or 5 years. So it's fair to at least question it.
Yeah. But there's more to just drafting there, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I mean, they have a culture there.
They got a coach.
Yeah, they got an unbelievable coach. But their first round picks, N'Keal Harry last year, he hasn't panned out. Their first round picks, for the most part, have not been that good in the last 5 or 6 years.
Sony Michel was a good pick. I don't remember I think he was at the end of the first round. He's been pretty good for them though. Yeah. I don't know. They just seem to make everybody I don't know. They just know how the hell to win football games. I don't know.
They got the best coach in football, period.
Chislo, thank you for the super chat, brother. Brilly says Bradbury's ranked as the 4th best cornerback right now. Bradbury's been amazing.
Yeah, I'm not going to expect him to keep up that, but I do think he's a top 15 corner in the league. That's what I thought when we brought him in. I think it was a very good signing. And He's still like 26, 27. So I think you'll get good production out of him for those 3 years. I think it was a really good contract. They didn't sign him to a 5-year deal. That's what I love most about that contract, because you're going to get the most out of him for those 3 years.
How the hell the Jets they were up 28-27. It's 37-28 now. What the hell happened there? How did the Broncos get 10 points that quick? And they have the ball back. Jets are going to lose.
Jets jetted.
They totally did. Roldy, thank you so much for the super chat, brother. Really appreciate it. I mean, Brilly says, I honestly believe if we bring in either Dobbs or Jeremiah as GM, we will have the first pick. I believe they will trade that pick and get a ransom for it. Dobbs is an assistant with the Colts, trading third pick and build the O-line. Dobbs is another one that I heard a lot of people love Dobbs.
Yeah, he's from the Colts. He's and they did a great job over there fixing that team, fixing that offensive line. So, yeah.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Chislo, thank you for the super chat. Brilly. He says Jets choked. 0-4. Adam Gase is gone for sure. Well, Jet Central made a video today, said Adam Gase is definitely not getting fired after this game tonight. It wouldn't make any sense to fire Adam Gase right now.
Well, that's what I said. And maybe they will. They definitely will. They might just try to appeal to the fan base knowing that they're going to move on. But I don't see how it does any good for you this year. If anything, it's just going to screw with your quarterback. I don't know. It's not like they're going to bring in the guy that's the answer this year. It's not. I would just write it out for the year and then fire him at the end of the year.
What the hell did they bring him in there for? How could you? He ruined Ryan Tannehill. Look what Tannehill's doing with Tennessee.
It was a horrible hire.
Why would you bring him? That was like
we complained about Pat Shurmur. Pat Shurmur looks like a saint compared to Adam Gase.
Pat Shurmur's a way better coach than Adam Gase. That's saying something.
Yeah.
Zach Phillips, thank you for the super chat, brother. Brilly says Uncle Vic for GM. Uncle Vic would make a good GM.
Uncle Vic would be. I think he's more of a coach than a GM.
Yeah.
Could you imagine Uncle Vic getting on the phone to try to trade with somebody?
What I think. Yeah, be pretty. But I think Uncle Vic needs to be like a motivational speaker.
Yeah.
He should lead the team prayer, maybe.
Yeah. I could see that.
Mark Edelman, thank you for the super chat. Brilly says, do you guys really think Patrick Graham is the guy? I don't. We don't have a lot of talent.
I think it's just too early to tell.
So
I think it's too early to tell. I mean,
and then secondary guys, it should have been McKinney. It should have been DeAndre Baker and Sam Beal. Like they should have been there. No Ballantyne, Ryan. Logan Ryan wouldn't have been part of this team. So I don't know. It should have been Bradbury, Peppers, Xavier McKinney, DeAndre Baker. And then probably Darnay Holmes. So those should have been our starting five. And it didn't pan out that way. So
he could be. He might not be. It's just to me, they don't, like you said, we don't have the developed talent yet. They're still learning the system. And they've shown spurts. We talked about it the first 2 weeks. The defense looked pretty good. So outside of not being able to get off the field on third down. But I just think it's too early to come to any conclusion on any of these guys. That includes Jason Garrett. I know a lot of people hate the play calling so far. I think it's a vanilla playbook right now. I don't think you're seeing the full repertoire until such time the quarterback grasps the offense and the offensive line starts to gel and starts to play better together.
What do you think they have to lose by opening it up, though? Like, why is there a reason we're not?
I think they honestly don't feel like they can. I think they feel like they'll get their quarterback killed if they open it up.
You think that they think he's going to get hurt?
I don't think they feel like the offensive line's good enough to protect for 4 or 5 seconds for plays to develop down the field.
So why don't
especially because they can't establish a run game because the pass game is so predictable.
Yeah, there really isn't much they can do. Especially, you'd say, okay, well, why don't you just throw short passes? Well, if your guys can't get separation on the line, then those passes aren't there. That's what I say. So many teams make that 7-yard out, that 7-yard slant look so easy. It's just like taking care of everybody 8 yards, but we can't do it because our receivers can't get any separation off the line. So it's just a tough spot. It's a tough spot for everything right now. Roldy, you're the man. Thanks so much for the super chat. Brilly says, Chris, you got to stop worrying about changing coaches. I understand you want a continuity, but if that coach doesn't fit, it just doesn't fit. Until they find the right guy, I like Judge, and the Giants better not take Caserio because of Judge.
Listen, I will be. I don't care. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. If they hire another coach and they give Judge 1 year, what does that say for the new coaches that you're bringing in?
Right.
You gave this guy 1 year with a shitty roster?
in a ridiculous pandemic where he didn't have a chance to have all the pre-games and the OTAs and the minicamps.
So, no, we cannot fire Joe Judge after 1 year. We can't. It would be ridiculous if we did that. It would be ridiculous.
Danny Lugenheimer says Eagle fans want Hurts. I think the Eagles should stick with Wentz. I think I told you it was going to happen with Hurts, Eagle fans. Wentz is going to get hurt. Nothing serious. He's going to get hurt. He's going to pull a hamstring, something. He's going to miss a half of the game. Hurts is going to come in and ball out. It's going to happen. Eagle fans are going to lose their mind. Oh, Hurts is gone. And then he's going to be planned for, and he's going to really stink. And you're going to say, yeah, he stinks. That's Pastor Ray, what's going on, my man? Brother, thank you so much for the super chat. He says, well, according to Boomer on WFAN today, the Jets owner said this week, Adam Gase is an offensive genius, and the Jets believe in him more than Darnold. Wow. If the owner said that, they have worse ownership than we do. How can he possibly think that it's Darnold's fault?
I'm going to tell you right now, I feel bad for Darnold. I hope Darnold goes to the Colts. I don't want him to go to the Cowboys. But I hope he goes to the Colts, and I hope he gets an opportunity to really do well on a good team because the Jets are wasting him. The Jets are a joke of an organization, in my opinion.
I actually told that to Gangrene David tonight, that I actually feel bad for Sam Darnold.
I feel horrible for Sam Darnold. They are wasting him. He is a good quarterback, in my opinion. He has no chance there. No chance. He has no weapons. He's got no line. He's got no coach. The Jets are a joke.
He stinks. I heard Giants fan. Thank you so much for the super chat, brother. Really appreciate it. Brilly. He says this year we'll test the Giants fandom. We've had a rough run, but 3 losses in our loss record, and we might break it. Other part is effed. Yes. I'll tell you this, though, Dire Giants fan. We've had a rough run, and it's testing our fandom this year, and it is. But the crowd in here tonight, we still have almost 1,000 people, and we had 1,060 in here at one point. I mentioned it earlier. The fan base on here, it's amazing how strong the fan base is on YouTube. It makes me proud to be a part of the fan base. Like I said, listen, some people got mad at me for my video, said don't be a fan, then root for another team. I was embarrassed for their performance. And as I said in my video with the Daniel Jones, just because you don't feel the same way I do just means you root for them differently than I do. Doesn't mean I love them any less because I got upset and I got ticked off that they lost. They got crushed by a bunch of backups, and I'm not happy. And I'm not happy about the last 7 years. But again, all the comments, all the views on the videos, people watching the videos, commenting, giving their opinion regardless. And these shows, the streams that we do, you guys are unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, we say it all the time, and it's fact. We have the best chat on YouTube. We have the best fan base on here. I don't care what anybody says. Let the Eagles go through a stretch like this. They'll all be gone.
Yeah.
They won't be here.
Yeah. You know? I agree.
Let the Cowboys go through a stretch. They haven't been great, but they haven't been bad. Let them take a 3-13, and then a 5-11, and then a 4-12, and let's see where they are.
This is when you find out if you're a real fan, when you have to go through stuff like this.
Yeah, absolutely. New York Giants, thank you for the super chat. Brilly. He says you guys need to invite Kyle Pizzle last year. We've had him.
Tell you what I'll do right now. I actually talked to Pizzle like a week ago. If he wants to come on the Talkin' Giants show on my channel next week, I'll have him on. There you go. We'll have him on next week if he wants to come on.
Yeah, we had him. We had him at a round table. I worked with him on his channel, and he worked with me on my channel. So definitely not on the Talkin' Giants thing, but I've worked with Cop a couple of times. We had Cop on the round table. So yeah, definitely. I mean, right now, I remember Cop and I talked in the offseason about doing like a post-game thing together, which still might happen. It's just because of all this stuff that's going on, the Lakers and the Yankees in the playoffs, it's just been so tough. There's not enough hours in the day. I wish I could stream all this stuff. But between work and a wife and a 3-year-old and everything else that goes on, I can't believe I get time to do what I do. So it's tough. But definitely want to work with Cop again. I mean, he's one of the biggest Giants fans you're going to find on here. And he's pretty much the patriarch of the fan base on YouTube. He's been here since 2007. So
yeah,
he was here before me. I'm the whole reason that I started YouTube and the whole reason I came back to YouTube was because of him. So, there you go. Pastor Ray, thank you for super chat. Billy says, I did hear the Steelers have interest in Darnold.
Makes sense. They got an aging quarterback. Makes sense.
It does. Secret Service agent James Carter. Thank you for the super chat, my man. Brilly. He says, if Dave is fired, Any thoughts on ownership giving Judge GM duties?
Here's what I'll say about that. It makes sense, but here's what I'll say. If the Giants win 3 games, how do you sell the fan base on that? A head coach that came in at 38 years old, he won 3 games in his first year, whether it's his fault or not. How do you sell the fan base? How do you then turn to the fan base and say, we won 3 games last year, the team looked bad, now we're going to give him complete control of the organization?
Yeah. That would be
I don't know
tough.
how you sell the fan base on that.
It'd be tough. But at this point, man, I don't know what they can sell the fan base on. This has been so bad. I don't know what there is to sell us on. I don't know. I really don't. I don't know what they can do. What they're going to have to start selling us on is that they win on the field. No matter how the hell they do it, in order to start selling us, you have to show us that you can win some damn games. And that's it. Or at least show some damn improvement. It's really rough right now. And then the thing that aggravates me the most, Chris, is I don't see any answers out there. Like, I don't look at a guy and go, okay, that guy's a future star. I mean, I love Daniel Jones, but even I don't look at Daniel Jones and go, that guy's going to be a future star. Like, he's going to carry us to a Super Bowl. Like, I don't even see that from him right now. I don't see it from Barkley because Barkley's always hurt. There certainly isn't a receiver on this team.
Dexter Lawrence, I could say him.
Okay.
I think he could be I think he's going to be a star. I could say him. But outside of that, if Barkley's not healthy, there's guys that could potentially be that, but we don't know yet. So you're right. There's not many. There's not many.
Diehard Giants fan, thank you for the super chat. My man, Brilly took the message away, but I'm pretty sure it said something like, even though we look like absolute dog do, still very proud to be a fan. I think it was something like that, but I don't know what happened to the messenger. I think he took the message away. Roldy, thank you for the super chat, brother. I appreciate it so much. My man, Brilly, he says, I disagree, Chris. For the most part, our pass blocking is good. There's no reason why we shouldn't open up the playbook. We're 0-3. What the hell do we have to lose? F trying to develop these players, F trying to say they need time. Well, that was part of my thing is like, how long are you going to give them? When I did the Gettleman video, I'm like, 3 years, these guys should be – they're in their prime at that point.
One thing I'm going to say is I think they are starting to open it up. I think they're starting to do it gradually. Last week you saw him try the end around Evan Ingram. He fumbled the ball. You did start to see them open up the offense a little bit the last couple of weeks, but it's not there yet. We got to take more shots down the field.
Pastor Ray, that's the best thing I think I've seen about selling the fan base. Really, he says trade the Chiefs roster for the Giants roster, easy fix. That is an easy fix. I don't know if the Chiefs would go for that, but that would be a pretty easy fix. That'd be a pretty easy fix. Dire Giants fan, you're the man. Thank you for the super chat, brother. Really, so second part. Tainah and Baddog said if we're picking number 1 and we're picking Trevor Lawrence. But until then, how about rooting for your quarterback?
That's what I said. I'm not rooting against my quarterback. I hope he's the guy. I want him to get better.
One thing that I said when I did the Monday live stream was the first time I got to hang out, like not doing a game or something, where I actually got to hang out and talk with the chat. One thing that I said, like I said, I will never tell somebody how to root for the Giants. I don't care what your opinion is. I don't care what you think is going to make the best team. I'm not going to tell you how to root for the team. Just like I don't expect you to tell me how to root for my team. If I want to get ticked off and scream and rant and rave, or I want to say I was embarrassed, let me be. One thing that I do not like and that I cannot stand, and this is a very rare breed, is a fan that will intentionally root against somebody on the team just so that they can go, I told you so.
Yeah.
I told you that guy was going to fail. I don't want that. I wanted, boy, was I wrong about Daniel Jones. Boy, was I wrong about that. Boy, do I look like an idiot. Well, I look like an idiot most times anyway, but I look like more of an idiot because that guy was the man. Boy, do I look like an idiot for saying Dave Gettleman wasn't the guy. That's what I want.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like, I told you Dave Gettleman was going to ruin this franchise. I told you Daniel Jones was like, I don't want to root for guys to fail just to say I was right about a guy that I didn't like. Sam Darnold, like, I can root for him to fail. He's a jet and he stinks, and I can root against him, but not the Giants. Not the Giants. Rolly, thank you for the super chat. Brilly, my man, he says, Chris, you sound like you just love making excuses for this team. You're trying to tell yourself that this team is really good when they're not. Come on, man. Take the fan out for once. We have backups and starters.
I love this. That's my favorite word that people say, excuses. This team sucks. That's why I'm telling you to be patient, because the team sucks. I'm not telling you that we're good. I'm not making excuses. I'm telling you this team sucks, and we need time to develop. And if you went into this year expecting this team to win 6 or 7, 8 games, and no matter what, and you were going to be flipping out, well, then you went in with unrealistic expectations. Period. End of story. This team is young. They're underdeveloped. We have a new coaching staff on both offense and defense. It's not excuses. It's being realistic. This team sucks, and they need time to get better. That's not excuses. I'm not telling you the team's good. The team is bad. They're so bad that we have to wait for them to be able to develop, to be able to institute a full offense. So if anything, I'm telling you they suck, and we need to get better.
But do you think that these guys are the ones that can develop and become great NFL players?
We have to find out. That's what this year's about. We have to find out.
I think what it is with, and I agree with Roldy. I don't like, not that I can't, but I'm not going to be the guy to say we have to do this, we have to do that. I want to win. I think what it is it's not just this year. Even though it is just this year with like you said, new coaching staff, the whole COVID thing, everything else, second year, a lot of injuries, all this stuff. I think it's just the wear and tear of all the previous seasons. Even though this is obviously very separate from everything we've done in the past, it's the fact that we haven't won. And everyone's like, well, we're going to do this. Well, it's going to get better here. Well, it's going to get better. And we aren't seeing any kind of –
if we don't see anything, then you're – but here's my thing. What's the point with 13 games to go to say to yourself when you know the team sucks, to say to yourself, we got to blow it up. I don't even care. Why not see if some of these players can develop? That's what this year's about to me. This team sucks. We have to find out if we've got 6, 7, 8 players that could be part of this team when they get good. That's all I'm saying. I'm trying to say it in a positive way. If you guys want me to say in my videos, what is going on, football fans? Back at it with another New York Giants video. This team is straight garbage, trash, every single video.
Then watch me. If
I could do that. I could do that.
You don't need to. I do that, so don't worry about it.
But this team sucks, and you have to be realistic, and you have to know that these players need time to develop, and we have to hope that some of them are going to be part of the team when they get better.
This is why we work so well together. See, Chris says that, and me, I am. What's up, guys? Baddog, back in the New York Giants. God, we suck. Yeah, that's me. That's me. But yeah. I think that's part of it, and I think part of it through the first 3 games is we have really seen nothing good. And I think that the last game has really left a bad taste in everybody's mouth. Like you said, there was definitely some good things to take away from those first 2 games. I think that we should have beat the Bears, to be completely honest with you. And we definitely had a chance in that Steelers game. But I think when you lose those games and then you just get embarrassed by a San Francisco team that was wiped out with their starters and we look so bad, I think that is really – if we would have lost a close game to the Niners, we would have been happy. But if we lost 36-35 and Daniel Jones had a big game and the defense got some pressure, we probably could have lived with it. But I think the fact Daniel Jones played so bad and the fact that the defense played so bad and they were giving up third down after third down after third down after third down, I think that's –
I wasn't positive off last week.
No, I know, but I think that's why some Giants fans are just really like, I'm just so sick of this. Just wipe the entire thing off the earth and start over again.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, and I get that. Trust me, because I'm impatient. So I get that. I'm sick of being patient. I'm sick of trying to be patient. I want to win. I want to win now. So I get both sides of the argument. I do. But that's why we work so well together, Chris, because you are the guy that's like, listen, we stink, but we can do this and this and this. And I'm just like, we suck. Blow it up.
Yeah, I mean, my thought process is we suck, but I'm hoping that we find some things this year to make this team better, to give us more hope for when this team inevitably gets better. Yeah. That's my mindset. If you guys want me to just say in every video, we suck, I could say it.
Like I said, you can watch me.
John
Episcopo, thank you so much for the super chat. Brilly, he says people like to blame the offensive line. But if you pay attention, we've had wide receivers who lead blocking, and Evan Ingram is an awful blocker. Oh, he's disgraceful, Jonathan.
Evan Ingram he's always been a bad blocker. He's a horrible blocker, and when he's dropping balls, he's useless. Yeah. Period. End of story.
Yeah, absolutely. New York Giants, thank you for the super chat. Brilly, 86 Giants or 2008 Giants for plaques? I always say 2008.
What was the question? Oh, 86 or 2008? I didn't get to see 86, so... 2008 is by far the best team I got to watch.
86. I think that the 86 defense was more dominant. Like they were a dominant unit. The LT was God. But that offense, the 2008 Giants defense was great, not dominant like that Giants defense. but that Giants offense sucked bad. And the
Yeah.
2008 Giants offense just ran the ball down your throat. So, and they had 3 good receivers. And I think that Eli Manning in 2008 was better than Phil Simms in 1986. Phil Simms had a bad year. It would be really close. But I think because the 2008 Giants were able to run the ball the way they did, and they destroyed like a team like the Ravens, who hadn't given up a 100-yard game in years. The Giants ran for like 240 against them. I would give this slight edge of 2008 Giants, having seen them both.
The 2008 Giants were very, very well balanced on both sides.
Yeah, they were. Pastor Ray, thank you for the super chat. Really. He says, guys, chill. Chris and Baddog and everyone on YouTube, we're all fans. We're not experts. No need to attack them. YouTube isn't their career. Just relax. No,
Listen,
Ray, it's all good.
We love our no, I get passionate. I'm not yelling. Roldy knows I'm not yelling at him. I love Roldy. Roldy's always in my streams. He's always showing me love. We're New York Giants fans. We're New York sports fans. We're Italian. We get passionate. When I'm yelling, it's not like I'm scolding you. It's just that's how I get when I talk about my team. I get passionate.
He's Italian. That's
yeah.
Where's the thing? Meat Tarhan got me. I don't know where it is. It says, but it's one of these patches. Is that it right there? Where is it? There it is. I'm not yelling. I'm Italian.
Exactly. There you go.
That's what it is, Pastor.
Yeah.
It's an Italian thing.
Yeah. But I mean, at the end of the day, we're fans. I always say it. My channel is just as much yours as it is mine. That's what I always say. I want it to feel like it's your channel just as much as mine. I want it to be a voice of the fans. I try to give you guys my opinion, and sometimes you're going to agree with it, sometimes you're not.
Yeah. Guys, we have 1,000 people in here, man. Unbelievable. Thank you so much again tonight for being here. Really do appreciate it. We're going to go for like another 5-10 minutes, and then we'll let you guys get back to your Thursday evening. But again, I just want to thank you so much. Again, hit that thumbs up if you haven't. Please make sure you go into the description, sub up, Entertainment Talking Sports. If you have not, the link to his channel is there. We'll be on his channel next week doing this show, and the game next week will be on this channel for the Giants and Rams this week. But we alternate channels. We do the show and a game on each channel. So please make sure you subscribe to him. Subscribe to me if you haven't done that either. That way you can, always see the show or watch us call a game together, that's always a lot of fun. Even when we stink, it's still a lot of fun. So thank you guys so much for being here. I mean, it's just an unbelievable crowd tonight. Thank you so much. Let me get a couple more of these here. Have you ever been with a fat chick? Really? He says a fat chick at quarterback will lead us to 16-0. Oh, I missed one there.
Maybe. I mean, maybe. If I didn't get her first.
Maybe. Chris sacked a fat chick already. Michael Vestardis, thank you for the super chat, Michael. Brilly. Shermer's offense was with a subway worker at quarterback, just scored 37 points. I honestly think DJ might regress this year because Garrett is a worse coordinator. Garrett's coming under a lot of fire.
I'm not gonna make excuses. That's what people say. I'm not gonna keep saying it. So, but all I'm gonna say is I'm gonna wait till the full season to evaluate Garrett and the entire offense.
It's hard to make it after 3 weeks.
Yeah,
with the coaches. Like I'm not putting I can't put blame on the coaches right now. For me, I'm putting blame on the guys that I feel should be doing a better job. And most of that lands on Daniel Jones for me because he's the quarterback on the team. And I just don't know what else you can do. Somebody needs to take the blame. I blamed everybody. I blamed ownership. I blamed Gettleman. I blamed Daniel Jones. I blamed the defense. I blamed a lot. I blamed Evan Ingram. But I can't blame the coaches yet. I can't get on them too much.
Yeah.
Mr. Mini Guy, thank you for a super chat. Brilly says the Entertainer talking rants. Chris is not Fisk.
No, I'm not.
Nobody's.
I'm not. You're not gonna see me have what does he call those? A firing range? No.
Firing range.
Yeah, that's not me.
No. Pastor Ray, thank you for the super chat. Brilly. People forget Giants fans heated Eli early on too. Difference is Giants were winning football games and Eli was there even when Eli was playing bad. That's the biggest difference between Daniel Jones and Eli Manning. Daniel Jones came into a crappy team. Eli Manning came into a good team. And despite Eli Manning turning the ball over a lot in his early years, we had such a good line, such a good running game, and an amazing defense.
Here's what I'm going to say about that. One, that's what I've said all along. Eli Manning came into a much better situation, and he could struggle, and they could still win games. The other thing, I'm going to be honest with you. In terms of pure physical talent and ability, Daniel Jones is not close to Eli Manning. Not when Eli Manning came into the league. Eli Manning had a rocket for an arm. He definitely struggled with turnovers, I'm being honest with you. I try to be positive. I don't try to bash Jones. Jones is a different type of quarterback. But Eli Manning, that's what people saw. They saw glimpses of the things that he was capable of doing, and only a few quarterbacks could do some of the things that he was able to do in terms of just a pure physical talent. In terms of throwing the football, in my opinion, Daniel Jones is not what Eli Manning was coming into the league. That doesn't mean that Daniel Jones can't be a great quarterback. They're just different types of quarterbacks.
Yep, I completely agree. Sonny Ann, thank you for the super chat. Brilly says, never imagined we'd become the Tampa Bay Bucks in my youth. Oh, God, the Bucks were awful. They were awful.
Yeah.
They were awful for a long time. Roldy, thank you for the super chat. Brilly. And Sonny, I don't know if you meant in the 70s, because the Giants of your youth, if you were young in the 70s, were also god-awful. But the Tampa Bay Bucks in the 80s were disgraceful, too. Tampa Bay Bucks were bad for a long time. Roldy, you're the man. Thank you for the super chat. Brilly says, I didn't mean to get you upset, Chris. What Baddog said is exactly it. We've been in this situation before and still no results. That's what I meant. Didn't mean to get you upset, bro. I'm just frustrated. I'm Haitian. I get crazy.
Roldy. You definitely don't get me upset. I love you. I love talking on Twitter. You're a diehard fan. You're always in my streams. You're always showing me support. Like you just said, you get passionate. You get frustrated. I get passionate when I talk about my sports teams. It's not like I'm yelling at you. That's just the way I am. I know it's easy to get confused that's just the way I am. It's not nothing to do with you. Nothing to do with you.
So Haitians and Italians are very similar, is what Roldy's saying. I knew Roldy and I were related. I knew that. And Afghanistan, too, because Afghanistan, and I know he's in here because there he is right there underneath Dire Giants fans, because he's always here. Afghanistan is always here. I freaking love that guy. And he, like I said, I think Roldy and I, there's some, we are all related because we are exactly the same. I mean, the same music, the same movies. Like Roldy's got the same thing going on with the family. They it's funny. Dire Giants fan, thank you for the super chat. Brilly, my man. He says, the real fans will be here to say we've been here for the trash Giants, like my dad was. Hopefully keeping Gettleman. Yeah, I said it. We're moving in the right direction. We're another year removed from our expectations, at least.
Yeah, listen. I've kind of thrown my hands up in the air from Gettleman because I'm just sick of defending him. Some Giants fans will flip out if they keep him. I would not be one of those fans. And I'm not saying, I think they're going to move on from him, but I'm not going to yell if they don't, but I think they will. I think they're going to move on from him.
Yeah, I do too. If we're bad, I think they will. But
yeah.
Like I said, if they don't, I'm not going to sit here and throw a fit.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say draft better or whatever.
Yeah.
Especially if this team just shows signs of getting better at the end of the year.
That's the key for me. That's the key.
Kelvin Payne, thank you for the super chat. Brilly says, why did the Giants get rid of Belichick?
Belichick got an opportunity job.
Yep, and Parcells was still the coach, and then Parcells retired like in May. Belichick was already with the Browns. That was the end of that.
Yeah, I saw somebody ask me if I'm doing week 4. I am not. You know what it was, guys? I normally do my picks on Wednesday. I was just so down from the Giants game. I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to do the picks this week. That's why I didn't make a video yesterday, because I was still that pissed off about the Giants game. And my channel personally, I got my negativity out those 2 days. I didn't want to continue that stretch of negativity. I said, let me take a breather, let me take a day off, and then I'm gonna recoup and try to get back to where my vision is for this season. And that's what I did. So that's why I didn't have the picks this week.
There you go. Nicky Sav, definitely Mariano Rivera is my favorite Yankee of all time. Definitely Mariano over Jeter. But, guys, that is going to do it for the show. Unbelievable support tonight. I mean, thank you so much. We had over 1,000 people here most of the night. I don't know why sometimes these streams get really populated, but I really, really appreciate it tonight. It's been unbelievable. Again, one last time, man, hit the thumbs up for us. And, again, if you haven't done so, make sure you subscribe to the Entertainment Talking Sports. Link is in the description below because we'll be on his channel. He's over here. Next week. For this. And again, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe here and come and hang out with us for the Giants and Rams. We'll be live for that game about 15 minutes before the game. So like 3:50 or 3:45, somewhere in there, Eastern time. But hopefully, like I said, that's a lot of fun. If you had fun tonight, you'll have a lot of fun during the stream because you get to watch us react. And you think we got it, you think Chris was yelling tonight, or you think we get a little heat night, wait till you watch us when we react to the game. That's really fun.
Yeah, I know you got 2 more super chats, then I'll close it out. I just want to somebody asked, Devin asked me a question. Damn, that sucks. You have a best bet then? I need you, Tainah. Devin, tell you what, I'm going to be doing a Q&A tomorrow because I haven't done one of those with you guys in a while. And then I do the stream the night before the game, so I'll be doing both. But tomorrow I'll look over the picks. If you're in the stream tomorrow, Devin, I will. If you come in, I'll do my best to tell you which games I like the best.
Rams -9.
I think it's 12.5 now.
Rams -12.5. Pastor Ray, thank you for the super chat. Really, man, I really appreciate it. He says, I think the number 6 pick in the Tampa game overhyped DJ. I'll tell you what, I definitely got on board after the Tampa Bay game. I'm not gonna lie. I got excited. I was pumped. I was freaking.
Oh, we all were. We all were.
Season 2.
I said it then though. That might have been the worst thing that ever happened to Dan.
I know you did. You did. You called it. You said pump the brakes. I couldn't. I was
because the expectations were way too high.
I was no brakes. I didn't think he'd play like that, but I definitely said, "Wow, this kid's a superstar." Like, because never saw him play in that game. Yeah, and we came back without Barkley. They messed me up. I'm not gonna lie. I went too fast with no brakes. Past races, I think the number 6. Yeah, I said that. So would if you were second or third rounder, there'd be less pressure, so we could develop better. Then if the Giants were winning, that too. Yeah,
I do think it would have been because here's the thing. Here's what I'll say, and I know you disagree with me on this. I personally thought we rushed him in. Had he been a second, third, or fourth round pick, the pressure wouldn't have been there to throw him in just 2 weeks into the season. The fact that he was the 6th overall pick, I think the pressure was there to get him in there as soon as possible. And I personally think, and I still personally think, it would have benefited Jones more to wait. To wait until week 8, week 9, week 10. That's just my personal belief. And had he been a second, third, or fourth round pick, the pressure wouldn't have been there to rush him in as soon as possible. So from that standpoint, I agree. Outside of that, I still think he would have had the pressure once he got in there. It's New York. They expect guys to succeed right away.
Right. Oh, that makes sense. And Roldy, thank you so much for the super chat, brother. Brilly says, can you imagine if we become good in the near future and let's say end up winning a Super Bowl? I promise you guys, I'm going to rent out a place and throw a party and invite all of you guys. We appreciate that, Roldy. That would be amazing.
Yeah, bro. I mean, listen, that's one thing. Once things get back to Dak is had a great support system, though. It's uncomparable to what Daniel Jones walked into when he first came into the league. You're talking about the best offensive line in football. You're talking about an all-world running back. He had a much better team. He had a great defense. It's not comparable to the situation between the two. But once things get back to normal, I want to have a bar meetup. I want to go to probably 2 Giant games a year, one at home, one on the road. Those are things that I definitely want to do in the future. So I'm looking forward to it next year.
That would be amazing. But guys, we are going to wrap it up again. I just overwhelming support tonight. Thank you all so much. Again, just speaks to how great this fan base is. I can't say it enough. I mean, I say it every week. It probably gets nauseating. I'm like a broken record, but we do have the best supporters on YouTube. There's not a doubt in my mind this is the best fan base on here. And to watch where this show has come from and just the amazing continued support, you guys watching our videos, like I said, commenting, sharing, coming into the live streams, hanging out with us during our solo Q&As. And this show, of course, just, continues to get bigger. Couldn't do it without you. Oh, we owe everything to you. I say it all the time. My subscribers are way too good to me. And I really, really appreciate it. There's not enough words in our language to tell you how much I appreciate you all. So really, from the bottom of Baddog's 44-year-old heart, that is like a 20-year-old's heart, though. Don't let this age fool you. I really appreciate you guys. So thank you so much.
Yeah, and no, I say the same thing every week, guys. You guys are incredible. I mean, the fact that you still watch my videos, Baddog's videos, I'm still getting 5,000 views the first day it's up when the Giants are 0-3 and everybody's talking draft. The fact that you still respect my channel, you come on there, you drop nice comments, whether or not you agree or disagree with me, you do it respectfully. Yeah, man, I can't say nothing but, I love you guys. I love what you guys do for me and my channel. You guys inspire me to work as hard as I do on YouTube, and I continue to work as hard as I do and will continue to work as hard as I do because you guys support me as much as you do. So I can't say thank you guys enough for everything that you do for me on my channel. My channel and Baddog's channel wouldn't be near what they are, if it wasn't for our diehard subscribers, the people that were here when we had 50 people in the chat, 100 people in the chat. You guys show up every stream. 9 people in the chat. So I can't say thank you enough. And I try to say it as much as I possibly can. So thank you guys for the support.
We are very, very appreciative of what you guys mean to us. So thank you so much. And Roldy, yes. Lakers, come on, man. What are you talking about? Is the Pope Catholic? Does the bear shit in the woods? Lakers, yes. Laker dog tomorrow night, of course. But until then, guys, again, thank you so much. And enjoy the rest of your Thursday or Friday morning, I guess it is now. For the entertainment talking sports, the Bad Diggity Dizzle. And we are gone.